Ladies and gentlemen, for those of you just joining us on YouTube or on stream, I've been thinking about this, and I really would rather finish with 6 and 9. Like, something about that just really appeals to me and works for me, with 9 and 6 being the conclusory Final Fantasies. So I've decided to push up 4 and 5 on the list. So we're going to be playing 4. We're starting 4 today. Remember, today's a half day, so we're cutting off after the lunch break. And then we will continue 4 tomorrow, and I don't know how long 4 is going to take. And then once we are done with 4, we will do 5, and then we'll conclude with 9 and 6. I haven't decided what order we're doing 9 and 6 in yet. I still want to do 6 last, kind of. We'll decide when we get there, so. For now, I want to show off what I consider to be, well, an interesting intro. Either way, I'm going to mute myself so you can hear this. Listen, Dakota, listen. I have no idea how 9's going to rate, but I'm pretty sure it's going to rate pretty high. Why the PC version? Give me a second. I'm going to play the intro, then I'll answer your question. How's that sound? Oh, I need to fix this, don't I? We're on 377. Sorry, give me a second. 377. There we go. Okay. Thank God I have all these templates. That's a good question, Mr. Red. Yeah, we're playing FF13 next. Sorry. Anyway, so I got to do this in a weird order. So I got to do this, and then this, and then this, and then I got to mute myself. So that was the intro. I've actually watched this twice so far. Today, Here's the problem with that intro, and I know spoilers is the obvious answer, but let me be clear. The problem with that intro is that it's designed for people who have already played the game. That's the problem with that intro. It's, hey, here's, super 3D awesome of scenes from the game, because that's what it is. It's extremely well done, in my opinion. In fact, I would say in terms of raw quality, that's actually the best of the openers we've covered so far. But again, the problem is, it spoils the hell out of so much. It doesn't spoil everything, but it sure as hell spoils a huge amount of the story. Especially if you're paying any kind of attention. So I'm really torn on this one, because I'm not sure how to rate this. Because, like, I mean, I'm sorry, but I do think that deserves a positive of some kind. But the nature of it means I can't just give it a generic story positive and move on. So I'm really torn on how to deal with this one. Any thoughts, guys? I mean, I could positive and negative it. Because, yeah. I mean, I'm sorry. Very good cinematography, very good directing, excellent usage of music. Very well done renders. They actually did they put a lot of work into that, too. I'm actually surprised how much work they put into that, basically. In fact, what I would say is that should probably be, like, the outro, not the intro. Like, that would be something that should be at the ending, right? Like, here, you did it, you beat the game, and then that plays, you know? The original game didn't have an opening at all. It did have an intro, which I've heard several people say that FF4 has the strongest intro of the series. It'll be interesting to see if we agree with that going back through here. Where's my frickin'... Sorry, give me 1 second. There it is, there it is! FF4, is this gonna capture? Okay, there we go. God, sorry. As with all modern Square ports, they just don't seem... Do me a favor, tell me if it stops capturing, because I have to disable my preview for hardware reasons. Hey, there's a save that looks familiar. God, we beat the game in 9 hours. There's my legitimate playthrough. You remember that one? It's not seriously? You've got to be kidding me. That was... You've got to be kidding me! Oh my god. Okay, hang on. Take 2. I've already got a backup in mind, and if that doesn't work, then I've got a backup of backup in mind. Okay. Can you see it now? So as I was saying, there's the... Okay, Jesus Christ. There's the lore run, if you remember that one. But I actually have a legitimate run here, which is that one. 44 hours, wow. I hate OpenGL so much. Ugh, I wish people would stop using it. Anyways. Okay, so... I just realized we only have 3 save slots. I'm probably just going to erase over this one. I mean, it's not like I need the save for the lore run. Is it still going? Just to make sure, since we're back to the top screen here. Because, of course, Aethel. I always do for these. I will be doing that for 4 and for 5. Still going. Okay, awesome. I think I like Darth Tyran's idea. Sorry, I didn't respond verbally, because I was dealing with this garbage. So, plus the story, and we're going to start building an aggregate negative. So, let's pull this up. No, 4. This is also one of the only FFs, one of 4 FFs that I actually hope to play twice. Because I actually want to play the SNES version someday and review that one. 6 hours. That beats my time. Although, nowadays I tend to just free enterprise it, because hello, free enterprise. Anyways. Alright, so, story positive. Opening. My printer back there. So yeah, it's an interesting way to start a run. But, whoops, god dang it. There we go, okay. I'm going to go ahead and admit something before I get started here. In fact, I'm going to admit 3 things. This game will not get as many music positives as I want to give it, because it's the DS music, and I don't like the DS soundtrack. I'm not even sure I'll give 1 music positive for the DS soundtrack. We'll see. For contrast, the SNES soundtrack would probably get at least 4 positives to sound, or music. Yes, really. So, that's neat. Which is hysterical because this could be very easily fixed with a toggle. I say easy, it's not actually that easy, but it is a doable thing. Make it so that you can switch between the old music and the new music. And I know what you're thinking. Well, lore, well, that's stupid. Well, okay, you're right, I am stupid. But it's not stupid. In fact, there's actually already a mod for this game, for this exact version, for the Steam PC version, that replaces the DS music with the SNES music. I was so tempted to do that, but that is cheating. For a review, that's cheating. But allow this to be my first recommendation. If you ever want to play this version, get that mod. Play the original soundtrack, please. If you don't like it, you could turn the mod off. Yeah, here, in fact, give me a second. I'll go find it again real quick, because I actually found this when I was setting up for this. Give me a minute. Oh, don't tell me I don't have the link anymore. I have it right here. I'm staring at it in my folder. There we go. And here's the mod for anybody who wants it. I've already got it working myself, so yeah. Is what bad enough? No, that's a part of an aggregate. We're going to be building the aggregate over time. I suppose in the interest of fairness, we should do this, because that aggregate is empty right now. But, or are you responding to Takoida, in which case ignore me. Alright, so, music. That's the first thing I want to say. Second of all, this is the game I am most biased towards. Yeah, not 6. I have proven that I have the ability to speak ill of 6. No, 4 is the one I'm going to be having the most difficulty reviewing as fairly as I can. Because this game sits at a very unique confluence of my life. This game literally taught me music theory and got me started about music composition. This game taught me about gameplay narrative and the fact that games can actually tell stories, and began my love affair with RPGs in general. I'd played RPGs before then, but this is the first time I actually loved an RPG. This game also introduced me to a bunch of other stuff, which I'm not going to bore you with right now. But the long and the short of it is, this is a big one for me. And I'm pretty sure for a lot of you, let me put it this way. I say for a lot of you, I shouldn't speak. I'm sure a lot of people, FF7 was this thing. You know, the big one that really introduced them to the... For me, that was 4. So I'm going to be trying very, very hard to avoid that bias. And please feel free to try and check me here. Because... well, we'll get there. Oh yeah, so, by the way, the reason I always recommend the PC version of 4 is because of this toggle right here. Because FF4DS is actually really brutal. It's good, and I love that brutality, but it's not a good thing to recommend for a first-time player of the franchise, in my opinion. We'll be playing on normal. By the way, I've looked into this a little bit. I keep meaning to look into this more. Apparently, the only thing this changes is the level rating. But we are going to be playing on normal. First thing we're doing is bugging out the game, apparently. Really? Okay, there we go. Playing on normal. Please tell me it's still showing. Like, give me a Lore Kefka if it's showing.
Lord Captain, we're nearly to the Baron border.
So we are.
The trouble's him, too.
Orders may be orders, but this goes too far.
Now, strange comment, but I actually like the version of this that has no dialogue, which is, of course, the original SNES version. But I think this scene does a pretty decent job of getting across what happened here. My opinion.
Lord Captain! We're the Red Wings, the pride of Baron! Must we now be thieves, sent to plunder from the weak?
Enough.
But Lord Captain, the Mysidians offered no resistance, and still we cut them down.
Listen to me. We did no more than what our kingdom's peace and prosperity required us to do. The Mysidians knew too much of the crystal and its secrets. His Majesty deemed it so. We are the Red Wings of Baron. It is not our place to question the orders of our king.
Lord Captain.
Lord Captain! Monsters at the fore!
There's also a mod for the animation in combat to be changed, which I just feel like mentioning, because they're the only two mods I recommend off the top of my head for this game, for this exact version of this game. It's probably a good time to mention that FF4 has more versions than any other Final Fantasy. We've got the original Japanese, we've got the easy type Japanese, we've got the original English, we've got the PS1 version, which is different in several ways. We've got the GBA version, we've got the PSP version, we've got the DS version and the PC version. I feel like I'm missing one somewhere.
Everyone all right?
Aye. But all these monsters as of late.
Disturbing, is it not? I wonder what it bodes. We've reached the castle, my lord.
Well then, prepare for landing, men.
My lord!
Now, I'm going to say something that's going to sound horrible, but I do actually like the camera usage. I do think the models are way too low res for it to really work, but the camera itself is actually a good usage in my opinion. Which is funny, because they didn't use it well at all back in 3. Same team, by the way. Although, Squaresoft actually did assist in the development of this one more than 3, so maybe that's part of it. Ah, the young lord returns triumphant. You did secure Mysidia's crystal, did you not? The crystal is ours, but the Mysidians, they don't even raise a hand in their own defense, Pagan. All's the better then, is it not? Only fools would dare oppose the almighty will of Baron. Come, we must not keep his majesty waiting. Not yet, Darth Tyron. But eventually, yes. A moment, my lord. Your Majesty, I fear our good Lord Cecil's faith in you begins to waver. Does it now? Indeed. Your loyalty and worth are proven once again, Captain Pagan. But the crystal is all that matters. Bring him before me. As you wish. Lord Cecil, His Majesty bids you enter. The Kingdom of Baron hails your return, Cecil. You have brought me the crystal, I trust. I have, Your Majesty. It is genuine, Your Majesty. So it is. See how it shines. And that will be all, Cecil. You may leave us now. Your Majesty, have you some other matter to discuss? Our king has granted you your leave, yet you would trouble him further? I know it is not my place to ask, Your Majesty, and I pray you forgive my indiscretion, but what is it you aim to do? Your ways are not as they once were. My men's hearts grow heavy with misgivings. As does yours. Your Majesty, no, I would never doubt... Do you take me for a fool, Cecil? Do you think your treasonous whisperings escape my ears? For all I've done for you, Cecil, you wound me. This is most unfortunate, but I can place no trust in one who offers none in return. I hereby relieve you of command of the Red Wings. My liege... You will now go to the Valley of Mist instead. There is a task I would have you do. A phantom creature haunts the borders of that land, the Eidolon of Mist. You will slay it, and deliver this ring to the village that lies beyond. They will know its meaning. Be gone at first light on the morrow. Your Majesty. I'm sorry, Your Majesty, it's me, Illidan. Yes, I have played After Years, I'm sorry. I beg you reconsider. You know Cecil would not betray you. Ah, Kane. I was not aware this matter concerned you. But, as you seem so eager to protect your friend, let your spear accompany his blade on the road to Mist. Majesty, I've no more words. Take the ring and be gone while my mood is yet fair. That is what a king should do, Daedalus, horribly enough. So can I just say, I know that this is a point of contention, but I love the English translation in this one. It's pretty much the reason I recommend this version over all other versions. There's some other issues, absolutely. I mentioned the music earlier, but I really, really like this approach to the dialogue. Kane, forgive me. I did not mean to draw you into this. You notice I'm also saying it all out loud, unlike 7. What's to forgive? We'll slay this Eidolon of his, and all will be forgotten. You'll be commanding the Red Wings again before you know it. Kane, you must be tired from Mysidia, no? Leave the preparations to me. Get yourself some rest. Okay, so, menu. My liege, what could all this possibly serve? Alright, so yeah, going straight from 7 to this is a hell of a shock, let me tell you. So, plus to story. Pluses to story. No, sorry. For real, though, there is a plus to story here. And that's the dialogue bubble, which is such a great idea. It actually pisses me off that basically no one else does this. This is a brilliant piece of storytelling tech here. Because what this offers, first of all, it's optional, which is fantastic. You can ignore that completely forever. But second of all, it gives insight into their thoughts, not just their words. And that is a wonderful tool for a writer to have, to be able to tell what someone is thinking in contrast to what they're saying. And it's so smooth and so intuitive, and it's so simple. You just pull up the menu, and whoever's in front, you just see their thought bubble. That's an awesome feature. So, yeah. And they're not just going, whatever. What's funny is 9 and 4DS both have a awesome story gameplay feature that I wish other games would use. It's the ATE in FF9, and it's the thought bubble in 4. Someone was asking me yesterday, if I could make a JRPG with features from all over the place, which stuff would you pick? Those are 2 features I would put into a JRPG. That's such a great idea. Anyway, sorry. I cannot be the only person who, as soon as I discovered that, which was pretty early, because you discover it just by pulling up the menu, which goes back to that intuitive thing, that at almost every point in the game, I would just periodically pull up the menu to see if they had any new thoughts. Anyway, so let's change the config, shall we? So we want this to go up. We want subtitles on. We'll stick with blue. We'll stick it on weight. What did you want me to do, Darth Charmin, exactly? As far as this? We'll do that. Goes for the WoW standard for me. Just checking the menu, but by memory, the menu is pretty good. Like, this is the era in which they had kind of figured out how to do menuing. Just kind of seeing what our options actually are. I need to test the memory cursor, too. So, very minor complaint, but this is a weird feature. There's that second of walking before you start running. Why is that there? Rash actions are ill-advised, at least if you value your life. Actually, could someone do me a favor and see if there's any font mods for this? I'm just curious. Rumors swarm about His Highness like so many flies, but I shudder to think of what might happen were he to catch wind of them. I was gonna say, I don't feel like this is an option or a thing on the DS, but whatever. I, for one, believe in our king. He's a man who is not afraid to act on his beliefs. I cannot help but sense a changed air about his majesty as of late. Yeah, so for those of you not in the know, I actually did a wallpaper for Final Fantasy IV. And I went out of my way to try and make sure that I used their type of speech patterns rather than, you know, modern types of speech patterns. Like, I suppose I shouldn't download a mod, because I just talked about how I wasn't going to download any mods for this, but that's not a good mod. I probably am Daedalus. By the way, Mr. Red, can I just say I disagree? I get accused every now and again of saying that the only reason I vote games as negatively as I do is because I'm in a hurry. That always irritates me. I spent the last 3 weeks playing these games, you know? And as I pointed out many, many, many times, there are plenty of games that are very long that I never get tired of. I have a recent example of that, Dragon Quest Builders 2, which I played off camera even. Ah, I see. Okay. Okay, we'll try to mess with the font when we get to a save point. The Valley of Mist lies beyond our far northwestern border. I've not been there myself, but it's said to be shrouded in a fog that never lifts. If our esteemed commander and Lord Cecil of the Red Wings join as one, it is the enemies of Baron who need fear. I agree. What is it? This is all my doing. Forgive me. You are not Yuna. Shut up, Cecil. I did not train in the way of the dark sword so I could steal from innocence, Cain. I trained because His Majesty asked it of me. You mustn't blame yourself for the orders you were given. Our king had his reasons, I'm sure of it. And do you, Cain? Cecil, so you saw me. We'll answer that later, Mr. Red. I saw the openings you left. How do you expect to lead the Dragoons if you can't even guard your own flank? My father's blood is in me. I will lead the Dragoons. Have no fear of that. You're certainly headstrong enough. No more holding back, Cecil. Fight to win this time. Don't overthink things, Cecil. You need to keep your wits about you. Or do you mean to send me off against the Eidolon alone? Of course not. We'll leave early on the morrow. Best get some sleep.
Your dedication will be rewarded.
God dang it. Hang on. Who would dare donate to me? I mean, it's a great film, Vigilant. Still one of my favorites. Although, admittedly, I haven't actually watched it since the Rumination, because, like I have time. But thank you very, very much for the donation, Vigilant. Much obliged, sir. Yeah, so, I am probably going to go ahead and give a positive to good localization. Or actually, what I should clarify that is excellent localization. So let me put it to you in such terminology, because I notice Estes Flask and Daedalus are arguing about this in chat. Here's my opinion. Good translation, good localization, that's expected, right? Like, that's neutral. Particularly bad translation or localization, that's a negative. And particularly good would be a positive. Because it boils down to how well the dialogue is written. Now, you could argue that that doesn't exist, and that's fair, but all I would have to do is rewrite the FF12 Plus to being dialogue, and rewrite this one to dialogue, because it applies exactly the same. But I've already given a plus to FF12 for exactly that. And I'm going to give a plus to this one for that. So I suppose the question... I suppose this is a valid question, because I don't remember if I gave Witcher 3 a plus for that. Give me a second. I mean, Witcher 3 is literally my highest rated game of all time, and probably will remain so forever, but... I don't remember if it deserves yet another plus. So let's find out. Where's Witcher 3? Let's just look for highest score. There we go, Witcher 3. Oh, what do we got here? Aha! I did actually give it a plus for the dialogue and for the way for the quality in its writing. So I did actually give Witcher 3 that positive. Go figure. I don't mind rewriting that to a dialogue positive instead of a translation positive. Although I do still think particularly bad translation is a negative. Like I do. FF7, excuse me. If we ever review Secret of the Stars, that one's probably getting the same negative, you know what I mean? So, what I'm going to do... I'm going to check something really quick. So I want to see how I phrased it back in FF12. Give me a second. So there's 8... There's 12. So yeah, this is actually funny. Literally all I have to do is replace the word localization with the word dialogue, and I don't even have to change the rest of the sentence. A truly excellent job with the dialogue, which not only takes into account spoken word rather than written, but has good usage of New English in order to convey particular archaic tone to the work. So, I'm fine with changing that around. So, it's good to establish these kind of standards going forward. So, plus to story, dialogue. You should get a button, if I'm not mistaken, Paranoid Android. Either that, or like as soon as you sub, it'll show up. As long as we're live while you do it. I'm not 100% sure how that works, since I don't watch streams all that often. I'm usually busy streaming. Okay, so... So, plus to story, dialogue. While we're here, negative to gameplay. Just to piss Mega Mike off. No, I'm kidding. But for real, though. Negative to gameplay. Okay, moving on. Congratulations! Word has it Mysidia was a success, and their crystal is ours now, thanks to you. Oh, right. Hang on. Speaking of which, let's start building an aggregate gameplay negative while we're here. Of course you can, Valvedrix, but you can't skip the rest. Ironically, you kinda can in the SNES version. Like, because of the way they render text in the SNES version, I think the SNES version of 4 will not get an unskippable cutscenes negative. Go figure. Yeah, so, building the gameplay negative. We're just getting a lot of stuff out at the beginning here, aren't we? Although, while we're here, I want to do something really quick. Do you guys mind? Of course you don't. Alright, so. Oh, thank you, Daedalus. Sorry, I should have... You can tell my mind's in 50 directions right now. Yes, if you want to put that sub towards something, Paranoid Android, you are more than welcome to do so. Oh, wow. I forgot I have the game down, probably from the last time I streamed it. So, boop. Now you're probably thinking, Laura, what are you doing? I just want to make a contrast. Is that cool? I want to make my point. Now, I know that musical variance is musical variance, and music is one of the 3 most widely varied preferences when it comes to human nature. But I want to make my point just really quick here, okay? You see my point? Now, you can prefer one or the other. That's up to you. But, I mean, I vastly prefer the SNES version, which is currently playing. But I wanted to give that direct contrast, because I think this is one of the songs, this is actually one of two songs, that I think most clearly shows the distinction and the variance between the two soundtracks. Which is what I was doing, for those of you wondering. By the way, Estes Flakes, I would actually agree with you on the Sekiro point, and that is a good point to be. Kind of sound the same. Myron is officially insane. Good to know. Ugh. But yeah. Well, that's how music preference works, Blueaholics. I just don't like the DS versions, so... I may eventually give a music positive to the DS versions, but I don't plan to. We'll see. Sleeping on duty? I would never do such a thing. Right. Let's go check out the help area. Oh yeah, so someone asked in the middle of that, how would someone who doesn't know about that particular exploit, deal with it as far as the unskippable cutscenes? I gotta say, I don't know how that's possible for you to not be aware of how to advance text in FF4 SNES. Because it's simply playing the game, you will very quickly realize that pressing any button, and I do mean any button on the controller, will advance the text. I found that out before I left Baron the first time I played the game, like as in where I'm at now. Sleep. Huh? You don't even feel sleepy? That's odd, I could swear I did it right. We've been ordered to conduct magical research to aid His Majesty's war efforts. Oh. Have fun, Crazy Norse! Not all monsters can be felled by simple spells such as fire, blizzard, and thunder. Ancient tomes speak of magic vastly more powerful, but all knowledge of such things is long forgotten. Exactly, Paranoid Android. See, you get it. By the way, I did jot that down for Bioshock. Thank you very much for the sub, sir. I'm currently studying the fundamentals of white magic. A white mage should know the 3 C's: Cure, Cura, and Curaga. This is another preference thing. I've always liked the Ara, Aga, Aja thing, rather than Cure 1, Cure 2, Cure 3, Cure 4. Just preference. His Majesty seems almost to have regained a bit of his youth in recent days, but it's more than that. Something about him seems different. And it's totally not that he's evil or anything. Rosa became a white mage to help you, you know. She worries for you. Try not to make her do any more than she must. By the way, I've been thinking about whether or not we'll ever do an FF4 Lore Walker Theater. Obviously, we have many other projects first, but I think it might actually be a feasible thing. It'll just take more editing than most of the others will, because we'll basically have to play a modded version with fixed font and fixed music, but we'll also have to, you know, replace the scenes with voice acting. So notice that person flat out tells you how switches work. Just a little bit of dungeon thing there. So someone asked if the menus are kind of slow. I'll find that out when we actually have a party. Oh, that's true. I could literally... Well, I don't know if it does it for the cutscenes. Something to test later. The vault below houses Baron's ancestral treasures. Entrance within is forbidden in the name of His Majesty the King. Yeah, that'll be fun. Who will voice Cecil? Another day, another sleepless night of work. I mean, I love my job, I do. You be sure to tell the Fleet Master that if you see him. Yeah, the next scene, which has no voice acting, is in the chambers, that's correct. Haven't seen Fleet Master Sid, have you? He's been like a ghost, leaving all the airship repairs to us. Seems distant when I catch a glimpse, too. Pensive-like. I do admit I don't like how zoomed in the camera is, but that's a problem with DS games in general. This tower is closed by His Majesty's orders. It's where Baron's corpse is. I mean... Nah, I'll do tests later, Darth Tyrant. Actually, you know what I could do? Nah. Other Laura would never join us. Don't be ridiculous. He hates my show. Rosa, White Mage of Baron. Thank goodness you're alright. The orders from Mysidia came so suddenly I'd worried. We're fine. Small wonder, considering we fought mages who did not fight back. Cecil, I'll visit you in the tower later. So, this is going to sound strange. Oh, by the way. Oh, okay. But I kind of like and dislike the relationship between Rosa and Cecil. I like the fact that it's baked in. They start the game as a couple. What I don't like is they never do anything with it. Not really. We've imprisoned the Mysidian mages who stood against us. It should be safe to speak to them as long as you do it through bars. True enough to go. You're that filthy Dark Knight. Do you truly think what you've done will go unpunished? Please, what you're doing, you think that what you do to us is of little consequence, but please, you must restore the crystal to Mysidia. You know nothing. That crystal is not some mere glittering stone. Also, I hate to point this out, but you can cast spells between bars, so... I also kind of dislike how Rosa is basically not a character. But, you know, shrug. I decided never to play 9. I mean, nobody likes 9 anyways, right? Sid looks stupid in this version. His lips are too big and his outfit's redunculous. Rose has been worried sick about you, you know. Make that girl cry.
You'll have me to answer to, you hear?
Oh god, I just had a thought. Hey, Darth Tyron. I should make you voice every Cid in future theaters.
Speaking of girls, how's my babies? Didn't burn out all the engines, did you? You and them goons of yours need to treat those ships with more respect. Hey, what the long face? Something the matter? What? And he's sending you to hunt an Eidolon instead. What'll happen to the Red Wings without you? I tell you, something's gone into His Majesty. He's ordered me to build a new ship, you know, more maneuverable one with more firepower. What's he thinking? I'm not building these things for him to wage war. There's talk amongst the townspeople, too. Everyone's worried about where Baron's headed. Now the king's sending you away from us. Missed, huh? Well, you take care of yourself. Suppose I don't need to worry about you, though, do I? I best be on my way, too. That daughter of mine is going to wring my neck if I spend another night here working without checking in at home. Peace.
Ow, be careful. That's where the monster got me. Notice they're only damaged because the monsters that attacked. Not the black mages or white mages. No, just the monsters. I like it. These guys are getting very drunk. And they actually show the alcohol bottles, because this is not, you know, Nintendo English. You already are Cid, Darth Tyron. Like, I've been slotting in your lines. Have I not mentioned this to you? Every line you've sent me, I've already edited in. We cannot erase the memories of what was done in Mysidia, but we can drown them! Yeah. Never has victory tasted so bitter on my tongue. By the way, an enormous amount of the story I've just done is optional, which, for the record, I do like. Hey, it's Naming Way. What's up? Greetings and... God, I gotta be honest, for the longest time, I didn't realize that the Lunarians were supposed to be bunny people. And I didn't find out for years later that there's a whole Japanese thing with rabbits coming from the moon, which helps to explain that. I mean, I'm sorry, their SNES sprite is not very distinct. I do like how they look in this version. It's one of the only sprites I really like the look of. Because most of the sprites are based on a mono art, and you know what I think of that. Anyways, greetings and salutations, Sir Knight. My name is Naming Way. I travel the world, bestowing new names upon those dissatisfied with the ones they already possess. But as of late, I find fewer and fewer wishing to take advantage of my renaming services. What say you? Why don't you try out a new name for size? Alright, what should we name Cecil, guys? Who wants to be Cecil? Someone say me in chat. So that'll be Lex Scoopster. Lex Scoopster. Lex Scoopster. Scoopster. There, Lex Scoopster. We squeezed it in. It's not taking it for some reason. What? You can't change your name? Wow, this is certainly unprecedented. It's almost as though my existence here serves no purpose. Wah wah. A naming way you can't change a man's name is no naming way at all. I believe it is time I embarked on a new journey to find my proper place in this world. Until we meet again. Okay, make fun if you like. I actually like that they included Naming Way, and then made an entirely new side quest devoted to him trying to find his place in life, since he can't rename people anymore, because they finally got rid of renaming. Sorry to say it like that, but honestly. If you're gonna have voice acting, don't do renaming. Very simple. If you're going to, use one of the tricks. Don't pull an FF10. I've turned to your bed, my lord. They told me you would be departing again on the morrow. Rest well tonight. Yes, I have, Tyrannon. I feel like I answered that already. It's still showing, right? Yes, I did, Pika.
Your Majesty, what's become of you?
I hated it.
Where is the noble knight, the man who took me in as an orphan and raised me as his own?
Oh yeah, moons.
The strong, just king I once knew. Is a crystal worth all this? Robbing a peaceful people of what's theirs by right. What need could be so great? King's orders or no, there's no forgiving what we've done.
Cecil? Won't you tell me what happened? First you're sent off to Mysidia, and now to hunt some beast again so soon? Did something happen in Mysidia?
No, it's nothing.
Then why won't you look at me?
In Mysidia, we stole a crystal from people who had done no wrong. I've worn this darkened armor for so long now, there's no mote of light left in me. Not even in my heart.
You're a good man, Cecil.
I'm a coward. A coward who cannot even defy orders he knows he ought not follow.
Cecil of the Red Wings is many things, but he is no coward. Not the Cecil who I love. The king is sending you to Mist to slay the Eidolon, isn't he? If anything were to happen to you, I couldn't...
Kain will be with me. I'll be fine. It's late. You should get some rest.
Be careful.
Thank you, Rosa. But I know what I've become.
I've become a protagonist.
Shall we then, Cecil?
I'll be counting on you, my friend.
Then you've nothing to fear.
Very minor point, but I do like the double mask thing they did for the DS version. They could do a lot better with that, but I do like the chkonk, chkonk. I'm kind of with you on that, Daedalus. It's one of the reasons why Rose is probably not going to get any pluses or negatives. Liam O'Brien is the man. And not just because he's Illidan. So, we've been discussing this with every game thus far. When does FF4's intro terminate? I know where I think it terminates. But I've heard some people argue that it terminates here. So the Dark Knight Cecil, stripped of his command of the Red Wings, set out for the distant Valley of Mist. Together with Kain, commander of the Dragoons, he would pursue a faceless quarry and a chance for redemption. The advent of the airship had marked the realization of mankind's most ancient dream, but man is a creature seldom sated, and he was quick to dream anew. With the unparalleled might of the Red Wings, Baron's military soon reigned supreme. Why then does the king now seek the crystals? That's what I was thinking, Wolf Alex. And why have fearsome monsters suddenly begun to overrun the... So, like FF8 and 7 and... I feel like there's another one, 9, there's actually an in-lore explanation for the increase in monster rates in this one, so, you know. I do like that. I like in-lore explanations for stuff. What do you mean by Foley, Darth Terran? Oh, the former. Easily, Odin. I'd rather they take my time. their time. So, forgive me, Kane. Boop. Or, boop. There we go. Those who seek the Eidolon of Mist find only death if tales are true. So we're going to do something real quick. We're going to save over the lore run slot. Sorry, lore run. Nobody liked you anyways. And then we're going to quit the game. And we're going to stop playing, and we're going to play FF9 instead. Everyone cool with that? I'm kidding, but I do want to try this mod out really quick. So if you'll give me one moment, please. I do think the DS version does a decent job with the overall music, so I will give them that. Okay, so I need to go here. Actually, let's just do it this way. Let's do this. There we go. Okay, where is it? There it is. God, I want to talk about lazy. They'll just put the font in the folder. I was thinking about it, Blue Wolf, and I wanted to save 9 and 6 both for last. For reasons that, honestly, I probably don't even need to explain. I was thinking about it all last night, too. This isn't quite a judgment decision. I haven't decided if I'm going to do 9 or 6 first, but I do want to save 9 and 6 for last. Give me one moment. I want to see something real quick. It's a good song. Shut up. Don't make fun of me. Okay, so I'm going to try something that's probably not going to work. Probably not Mead Fist, but we'll see. We'll see. No, SJ. There's no way the theater will be done by the time we get to 9. No way in hell. No grinding. If we have to grind, that's a negative. So we're going to be Korean methoding it. Okay, so I need... I guess that's actually it. Because I don't actually want to do the music mod. I mean, I do, but, you know. I meant to ask, was that a normal or hard Tyranid, if you don't mind? Is it visible, by the way? Wow, that is interesting to look at. That is not well spaced. Look at that. Look at that font. I mean, I know you can't see it, apparently. Which is weird, because you should... Oh, it's because I just turned it off there. Now you should be able to see it. Come on. There you go. God, that takes a while. So yeah, that font looks terrible. As you can tell. I mean, it works. I can read it. It's just let's see what some dialogue looks like. Hang on, let's go to town really quick. Hear that rumor? Word is that there's this place called the Training Classroom under the Devil's Road. New adventurers can get all sorts of advice down there, or so they say. Yeah, they moved the training room. In this SNES version, it was right over here. Oh, you don't like the FF6 font? But yeah, it's obviously, there's some issues with the way it's being presented. So that sucks. So let's try the other one. I just wanted to see, I was just manually replacing the font with my own font. You know, brute forcing it, basically. We'll try the actual mod. Move and replace. Let's see if this looks any better. Wow. Really quick, I do like this built in. You know, HP, weaknesses, absorbs, accuracy. I like that built-in UI information thing right there. It's a nice little touch. Now, it looks like that did fix some of the issues with it, but not all of them. Ah, gotcha. I would agree, Darth Tyrant. I've never actually heard that term, but I have heard of what you're talking about. I've actually done a lot of work with what you're talking about, but for some reason, apparently no one decided to tell me what it's called. You're the Lord Cecil of the Red Wings, or my eyes betray me. You seek the Valley of Mist? It lies beyond a cave in the Northwest Mountains, and I suppose I can turn this back off again. There we go. How are you dressed like that? Are you a bad person? Well, jury's still out. Hey, Dallas. So, I never actually asked you, do you like to play... I guess I could ask this of the entire chat. Does anyone here like to play Free Enterprise? If you don't know what I'm talking about, then that's a no. But, Lord Cecil, I've done no ill, I swear it, my taxes are all paid. If it isn't our own Dark Knight. Money? Oh, surely you just... Your mere presence here is payment enough. Like, at some point, you'd think he'd kind of cognate what's going on here. Be like, I mean, he's literally a Dark Knight. Nothing good can come of meddling in the affairs of Mist. I agree, FF9. Sorry. Grim are these days that our king trains his men in the way of the dark sword. Yeah, by the way, there's implications in this version of the game that actually multiple soldiers have been encouraged to pick up the dark sword. It's just Cecil was the one who picked to it best, because after all, Cecil has that whole dark aspect of his personality, thanks to the way he is, and blah, blah, blah. Father was out working all night again. When will he realize he's not young enough for this anymore? You'll tell him for me, won't you, Cecil? Tell him he needs to settle down and stop building airships and nearly dying by jumping into a pit. The townspeople have been saying horrible things about His Majesty and the others at the castle. It's all Father's been able to do to still their tongues. We know there's plenty of good men there, like you. Finished. New engine. Principles of buoyancy. Yeah, FF4 SNES was also the game that taught me to talk to everyone and do everything, pretty much at every point. This building houses the entrance to the Devil's Road, the Dwemer path that leads to Mysidia. In quieter days, it was a thriving means of trade, but now wizards have sealed the exit on their end, effectively closing the route. There's also a military classroom in the cellar, though I'm sure you've no need to be taught about combat. Cid's outfit is very Amana, yes. I like the added little bit of world building that they used the road back in the day as a form of trade with Mysidia. That's a nice little tidbit. It also kind of helps to explain why there's black and white mages here in Baron and basically nowhere else, if you think about it. So this is the game tutorial area, which is actually a staple from, let's see, FF4 to FF8, I think, all had a tutorial area. So yeah, party menu, battle speed. Just explaining some of the basics here. I'm just reading and seeing what they've got here. And of course they give the keyboard commands, because why wouldn't they? Oh yeah. So, let's see. So this is actually a feature I personally like. Which, I gotta remember where to do it. Ah! Yeah. you can set something into the auto battle command. What that means is if you hit the auto battle button every turn, they will do that command. It's not a good, or it's not a great, I should say, auto battle, but I would say that's better than several auto battles. Some auto battles just repeat your last command. Some auto battles auto attack. This one, you can slot what it does. And I actually do want to slot Canes here to jump. And you can do that for items or spells or all sorts of stuff. It's a neat little feature. IMO. Oh, it's a Dark Knight, but I don't think you look so mean. The door is locked. That equipment is too good for you right now. Well, okay. His Majesty's recent behavior troubles me. Even you and your men have been doing some terrible things, as I hear it, orders though they may be. All I ask is you keep Rosa out of harm's way. Don't involve her in these dangerous games you men must play. Listen. Our reindeer games... No, I'm done. Thinking about it, I can only think of two versions of Auto Battle that are better. One is Bravely Default 2, which allows you to do multiple setups for Auto Battle. Basically the same concept, but multiple profiles. And the other is Gambits, because if you think about it, Gambits is the final development... the final point of the development process path of Auto Battle. It's okay. We were just following orders, so it's all safe. So this is a little point that I never really figured out back in the SNES days. Oh god, I've spoken no ill of His Majesty, I swear it. Why don't I show you something and we can forget about everything? And so she tries to bribe us with a bikini dance. And then Rosa shows up and casts Holy and... Alright, how many of you, back when you were playing this for the SNES version, spent way too much time in here after you found, like, one or two chests? And we're like, oh my god, how many other chests are there here? Like, every square inch. It's like, oh my god. There's gotta be other chests, right? I mean, surely I've missed one, right? And just mashing A as you go, you know? Ugh, I'm gonna have to start calling Bravely Default 2 Bravely Default 2nd, or Bravely 2nd, rather than Bravely Default 2, because they decided to make a Bravely Default 3. I hate how games name themselves these days. What do we start off with? Nothing, wow. Yeah, Kingdom Hearts is worse, but it's still really irritating. It's the Assassin's Creed does it too. That's why I say games in general. Assassin's Creed does that. Resident Evil does that. Tomb Raider does that. One of those, or two of those. Excuse me. Bravely Threefold. Actually, that sounds kind of cool. Yeah, Grand Theft Auto does that. So how many of you know there's a chocobo here? We're not going to use it. I need the experience. But, I mean, how many of you know there's a chocobo right friggin' here? I guess that's true of Blue Wolf, Alex. Although, I mean, I've heard some people apply that same mentality to Assassin's Creed, which I really, really disagree with. No, we didn't mod the music. I need to experience the music as is for the review. And all its nightmarish horror. So yeah, this is the DS music. Yeah, I'm trying to. I talked about this during the Assassin's Creed lore run. Assassin's Creed 3 is like the 7th game, I think, something like that, and arguably less involved in the main story than Brotherhood or Revelations. Hang on, so it's like it's AC, AC2, AC Bro, AC Rev. So AC3 is actually AC5, and then AC4 is AC6. I will find out, Spicy Blue Milk. I don't know. That's one of the things we're judging. Damn. So one of the things several of the really good FFs get is convenience feature positive. For basically just good interface design is what it boils down to. This might not get it. I do like how they show you the exact stat ups. Yeah, Kingdom Hearts 3 is Kingdom Hearts 13, actually. Or something like that. Excuse me. Greetings and salutations again. Your name was Cecil, was it not? After we last spoke, I set about mapping a new course for my life. One that would allow me to help people. But having undertaken the task of mapping, the name of Naming Way now seems rather inappropriate. By the way, really, really minor thing, but I love the fact that Naming Way, whose main power was to change names, constantly changes his own name, even as he keeps changing his jobs. Anyway, so... Naming Way became Mapping Way, the cartographer. And we get the map. It's an enchanted map that will draw itself as you traverse. And that's not all. For each map you complete, you'll receive a reward. I like this mechanic, actually. I feel a presence. It's not hostile, but nor could it be called friendly. They say the Eidolon dwells here, yet the cave is quiet as a grave. Other than the enemies... Okay, so... There it is. It's R button. Yeah, I like this feature. Call me a weirdo. I like mapping things out. I like getting actual in-game rewards for it. I don't like the fact that it's one of the only things that carries forward into New Game Plus. I should test that. I like this version too. Basically, this reminds me of Diablo 2 more than anything else. Okay, so I'm gonna jump into darkness. Give in to the darkness. No parents. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. Jigga jigga wugga. Deli style. Jigga jigga wugga. You know, I'm not sure what my favorite transition is from battle to... or from overworld to battle. By the way, another tiny little tidbit, you can actually turn on auto battle and then turn it back off, like this. Basically, if you just have a bunch of actions you want to do really quick. Like, all the SNES ones basically had the same one. And that was it. By the way, they actually show the charge meter in this one, which is just interesting to think about. Hello, Dream Whisperer. If you don't know what I'm talking about, this is true in the original SNES version too. Every action has a charge attached to it. They also changed what charges where, so Bio, that is to say Virus, is no longer incredibly overpowered in this version. Sorry. See, Bio, back in the SNES version, it wasn't that great of a spell, but it was basically a level 2 spell. But it had no charge time, so it was just BAM! Immediate. Nuke was another very quick cast time ability. Yeah, I decided nobody actually likes FF9. That's why nobody's been giving me their lines. They just hate the game that much. Yes, I have altered the deal. Pray I don't alter it any further. I know, Dream Whisperer, I know. I'm hoping that once January starts rolling around, we'll start getting people really pushing lines again, because we're getting pretty close. We're just at the point where people need to do their roles. We only have a relatively small number of unassigned roles at this point. Sorry, I'm debating something. Which roles are unassigned? Everything on the spreadsheet that's in the unassigned category. I don't think anything big is left, but we have a bunch of NPCs that we still need stuff for. Good morning, Braven. Speaking of roles, people who need to give me their lines for FF9, I'm just poking fun. What polls, Dakota? If you mean the voting polls, then no, I don't touch them after they're put up. Why? Alright, I'm debating... That doesn't surprise me, Dakota. So, I actually can't log into Straw Poll at all. Because Straw Poll, like yesterday, did some big under-the-hood change. And it's still really broke, which actually irritates the crap out of me because I can't wait anymore. We only have like a week left, or 2 weeks left. So I just had to go ahead with it. So yeah, Straw Poll's just kind of borked right now. Hopefully at least some of the votes will go through and we can tabulate that in about 2 weeks when we're done with it. But that's what that is. I'm debating a gameplay negative or an aggregate gameplay negative. This Voot, Myron. Which I'm going to talk about tomorrow more extensively. But yeah. So, okay, here's the negative. There's no memory cursor at all. In fact, there's so little of a memory cursor that every time I pull into combat, not only do I have to do that, but I have to summon the map again every time I leave combat. Or do anything. Like right there, I have to pull the map up again. Just because I interacted with a chest. Like, it's like the opposite of memory cursor. It's very strange, and I don't like it at all. But yeah, if you want memory cursor, this is the equivalent of memory cursor in this. So, that sucks. That's kind of what I was thinking, Estes. I remember distinctly when I first played this on the DS, and one of the things I did was I had set up the auto battle and just kind of used that as memory cursor, like as a replacement for it. Good day, Mother Muset. One moment. I think I'm going to go and do this. Like, there are some fights where I would actually use auto battle to cast a spell quicker than just going through the menu and casting it. Just to use an example of what I'm talking about there. So I think we're going to get a weird situation. So there's a positive, and there's another positive. And then there's... I'm just going to codify this. There's a negative, and then we got another negative. I suppose in the interest of fairness, this one should be in brackets. There. Men of Baron, you know who we are? Levy at once. And no harm will befall you. I will abide no further trespass. Show yourself. You mean to ignore my warning? We must deliver this ring to the village of Mist beyond. So be it. Why does it have beads dangling from its ears? Damn it, Amano. Stop infecting my games. What? So like 3, they decide to use different camera angles depending on the fight. Usually to emphasize a boss. I agree. Although not this version, Tyranid, but the original version. So, I talked about this already back in 7, but 4, 5, 6, and 7 all actually have the exact same first boss, the tutorial boss. And it's the attack during some phases, don't attack during other phases mechanic. Which I'm willing to give at least a little bit, you know, of slack for, especially in the original, because it was the first time they had experimented with tactics at all. I could see that, Estes. Although, there is one fight in this game that is among my favorite boss battles in the entire franchise. I'm just curious, can anyone guess the fight? I mean, there's actually a few cool fights. Oh yeah, there's a nice little health bar thing, too, when you're healing. Yeah, by the way, I didn't actually talk this out. One of the pluses I gave was a UI plus. One of the negatives I gave was an interface negative. No guesses? It's the Golbez fight. Because in the DS version... Now, granted, this hit me specifically because I played the SNES version. But anyone who's played the SNES version knows that when you fight Golbez, it's a joke. It's a cutscene fight. So I got to that fight expecting it to be a joke, and then he crushed me like a bug. And I was like... Okay. I guess I'll go ahead and try. And then I tried, and then I still lost. I was like, oh my god! And then I really tried and actually managed it. It was a really fun fight. I suppose that's fair, Joe Neutrino. I should use a different word. Let's call it HUD. But what I mean is, there's some good stuff visually shown, and there's some bad stuff as far as actually interacting with it. So visually, good interface. Actual interaction with it, bad interface. Strange, I felt no malice in that dragon, no evil. There's little sport in that, but it is done, now to deliver the ring. I love the contrast there. Notice it doesn't even memory save for the slots. I'm going to have to put down every single time. I want to make sure I don't erase my save. Cutscene.
The ring!
Yeah, by the way, in the original version, it was actually called Ring of Bomb. Kind of makes you wonder why they didn't pick up on that. I like how they just call it a ring in this version.
Is what we were sent to do?
He wished this village torched.
But why? Why?
Mother, you can't die. Just because your dragon did it.
I've heard of their lot. Men who can conjure Eidolons. Summoners.
Then the dragon we slew was her mother's?
You're the ones who killed her dragon?
Forgive us. We'd no idea this would happen to your mother.
His Majesty sent us to eliminate every last one of these people.
No.
Foul work, to be sure. We'll need to kill the girl as well.
Kain!
It's her or us, Cecil.
She's a child!
You'd betray your king?
Betray him? Any man who'd wish for this is no king of mine.
I thought you might say that.
Then...
I owe His Majesty much, but not so much I'd soil the Dragoon's name in his.
Then you're with me.
Baron's army is the mightiest in the world. Our flight means nothing if we remain alone. We must treat with other nations, share what we've seen. And Rosa, she must share our flight.
And she will. Thank you.
I'm not doing this for you.
Huh?
Quickly, we mustn't linger here. What of the girl?
We take her with us. Come. It's not safe here. Take my hand.
No!
We've no time. Use force if you must.
Stay away!
Wait!
Yes, that's Yuri Lowenthal.
Leave me alone!
And,
I hate you!
and Liam O'Brien as Kain. I don't know about you guys, I actually think they did a pretty decent job with the voice acting. There's a few complaints I could make. It's better than 10, worse than 12, you know what I mean? At least in my opinion. My main complaint with the voice acting in this game is how little of it there is. Yeah, they got some good voice actors for this, too. I just named two very good ones. They also bring in Michael McConaughey, who is probably my favorite voice actor in for this. He plays a couple characters. Hey, Gordon. Oh, so we got a new viewer there, really quick. Hang on. Scroll up, scroll up, scroll up. What was the name? What was the name? It was someone who usually doesn't get to join us. Oh, where was it? Okay. There it is. Lee Andrews. What's up? Welcome to the stream. Yep, Cecil's dead. Sorry, game over, guys. Time to move on to FF5. I hope FF5 will be a little bit longer. If you have any thoughts, comments, questions, if you want to say anything, you want to shout out or whatever, feel free. We like chatting, we like interacting, so you are more than welcome to share and hopefully enjoy. Especially when it comes to these reviews, I very much like to hear people's thoughts and comments when it comes to these games for reviews. Nah, nobody likes FF9. Finally, a short JRPG. That would be Chrono Trigger. No, really, Chrono Trigger might be the shortest JRPG out there. At least of the good ones. My nickname is Lore. What are you talking about? I mean, you can call me Runner if you want to, but I don't promise to respond to it. So then this section. An orphan, and if not by my hand, then by my deeds. Oh yeah, you have the overworld map here too. It's actually pretty nice for people who don't know where they're going. They're like, ugh. Yes, my actual legal name. I mean, my business name is the Lore Runner, so make of that what you will. Okay, speaking of songs I don't like in the DS version, this one. God, I've not seen a child so pale. Please, get her to a bed. You needn't worry about payment. So hang on. So, Cecil indirectly... let me say that more correctly. Cecil directly but unintentionally led to the death of Rydia's mother. And Rydia hates him for it. But, given the fact that she perceives his actions and words as someone who is not actually an evil man, she decides to go along with him and forgives him relatively quickly. Huh. I mean, the more I see these kind of incidents happen, the more I think that Hope is stupid. Because we saw this with Vaughn in 12, and we see this with Rydia here. Now, she does get over this too quickly. I don't want to sound like I'm praising this game too much, but it just really helps to emphasize how the Hope thing really irritates me. What, you mean this symbol right here? This is my symbol. That's the simplest way to answer it. This means me and everything I believe in. You know, being a decent person, helping others. Respect, tolerance, understanding, proper communication. Proper management and usage of resources, not being wasteful. Coordination, cooperation, teamwork. Bonds of dissimilarity. I keep going, but you get the idea. That's what it means. Boop. I want to ask you to forgive me. It's my fault you lost your mother. But please, at least allow me to take you someplace safe. Yeah, I designed it myself when I was in, like, high school. Actually, no, it was before high school, wasn't it? But either way, this is an old symbol. I think it's literally older than some of my viewers. God, you can tell I'm used to free enterprise, because my first thought was, hey guys, what boss do you think we're going to get here? I should explain the free enterprise thing. I'll explain the free enterprise when we go through the cave, okay? Don't let me forget. It seems we found you, Lord Cecil. Please, you must listen, His Majesty. Our orders come directly from His Majesty's own mouth. Surrender the girl, and he will pardon all you've done. The inhabitants of Mist represent a threat to us all. They must not be allowed to live. What? Stand aside. I think I'd rather not. Attack! How old is she? Like 10 at the moment. No holding down A either, by the way. It's another bad interface thing. Whew, excuse me. I'm sorry, it's all my fault. Agreed, Tobigo. He literally turns on his own people and kills his own troops after being offered a full pardon in order to protect her. Now, I mean, any decent person would do that, but from the perspective of the child who's confused and lost, it helps to show why this is not her enemy. And that is a very important thing to be shoved into her face as quickly as possible. I mean, otherwise we'd have hope. You've nothing to apologize for. It is I who've wronged you, and apologies cannot right the things I've done. But you protected me. Also known as the best summoner. Actually, fun fact, in my mind, I usually, when I think of, like, the summoner, Rydia is the first person who comes to mind. I mentioned that at one point in time. And then several people are like, what about Yuna? And I was like, oh yeah, I guess there's her. Actually, I think it's Rydia of Mist is literally her full name, given the era. I cannot undo what I've done, Rydia, but I will make amends. He looks so sad. But yeah. So she starts off really, really, really weak. And we need to carry her until she'll be useful. At least in the SNES version. Not actually sure if that's true in this version. I guess we'll find out. Tella and his daughter Anna were as close as a father and daughter could be. And bless their hearts. Then one day Anna simply up and ran away from home. The old sage has been grief-stricken ever since. Oh yeah, her weakness makes perfect sense. I'm not complaining about it. Just getting a few items here as per usual. Because we're already low on everything. Then again, when I think of white mages, I also tend to think of either Rosa or Minwu, so what the hell do I know? Soothe your desert-parched throat with a mug of Kaipo's finest. I love most of the thought bubbles, really. Well met, friend. I'm a scholar en route to the eastern kingdom of Fabul, where I hope to continue my studies. As it were, I found the waterway that runs beneath the mountains to Damcian, barred by a moonstruck old man who refuses to grant me passage. Only Damcian royals are permitted to eat the antlion. Oh my god. To enter the antlion's den that lies to the castle's east. To think of the riches that could be ours if only we were allowed inside. Greetings. A new face like yours is always welcome sight. With monsters on the rise, business is slowed to a crawl. Yeah, I didn't contribute anything to that category, to quite a... everyone, Roberto. Everyone who isn't me. Although I actually added a couple. But I basically left it up for a couple weeks for people to just add stuff to the list. Waterway? That's north and east of here, but you better not go in. People say they've seen 8 big scaly snakes in the water. Now, when I think Black Mage, I think of Vivi. I mean, honestly, I don't think of Vivi as the archetypal Black Mage, but when I think of Black Mage, Vivi is really the first one that comes to mind, so... Yeah, 112 categories, Zero Hunter. You guys really stocked up on that one. You guys added most of the categories, too. I added like 5. And then you guys were like, wait, we can have more categories! If you're traveling with so young a child, best keep her in the back row of your party, lest you be attacked. Yeah, I actually started this show in the last decade. How's that for a weird thought? I think Tella... So Tella's a sage, in terms of classes, which is basically uber mages. And, yeah, I think Tello in his prime would be a beast. Like, at Kuja level, at least. Oh, hello again, Cecil. What am I doing here? Well, as luck would have it, I accidentally dropped all of my maps and pens into that huge fissure that opened up near the Valley of Mist. Having lost the ability to map, my name Mapping Way seems rather inappropriate. But I don't really know what to do next. I'm taking some time to reevaluate my life now. Mapping Way became Living Way, the Vagrant. I've just been spending my days looking over the pages of this bestiary, with no particular trade to call my own. So, they have a bestiary. Yeah, no, I think Kane when I think of the Dragoon. Not the best bestiary, probably because it takes so damn long to load. We found that poor young child collapsed outside the village, completely incoherent. Seems to have succumbed to desert fever on the way from Baron, my little dear. Keeps mumbling the name Cecil over and over. Could someone do me a favor and link the vote in chat, please? By which I mean the spreadsheet. Got an augment! Desert fever can be cured by exposure to the light of the Damsian sand pearl. Obtaining one, however, is no simple task. They can only be found in a cave where the Antlion dwells. Thank you, guys. There's where you vote, guys. I'm going to do a big announcement about it tomorrow, and I'll upload the video into both channels. Hey, you got your hands on an interesting item. This is augments. So... I like the augment system a lot. What it is augments are items. You can use them once, ever. And once you use them, they give that ability to a party member. There's basically two types of augments in the game. One is stuff that is actually the abilities of a particular party member. For example, Darkness, which is an ability of, Cecil, is an augment. For at least I think it is. Rook... I'm trying to remember the other ones. There's like Salve for Edward. Remember or whatever from Tell. All that stuff, right? All those are augments. But then there's augments that are not actually originally default options in the game. Like Auto Potion is an obvious one, which automatically uses a potion. You can also gain certain abilities from some bosses and enemies as augments. Like you can get Kainazo's ability as augment. In fact, I should just pull up a list while I'm thinking about it. Rather than telling you. So we've got like Item Lore, which increases the power of items. Counter, which automatically counterattacks. Curse, that's the one you get from Milon, or Scarmillion. That it causes curse on all enemies. Tsunami, you get from Kainazo. Bluff, which is from Palom. Cry, which is from Porum. Dual Cast, which is from Palom Porum. Twin Cast, which is from Palom Porum. Gill Farmer, Bard Song, Salve, Hide, Recall, that was the one I was thinking of. Last Stand, and Fast Talker, all those are from Tella. Whirlwind, from Valvalus. Draw Attacks, Eye Gouge, which is from Naming Way. Reach, MP, Analyze, Upgrade, Adrenaline, Inferno, Darkness, Focus, Kick, Brace, Level Lust. Piercing Magic, Question Marks, Love, which I don't think we can actually get in this one. HP Increase, Bless, Omnicasting, Phoenix, Safe Travels, Treasure Hunter, and Limit Break. Now, I love the augment system as a baseline, because what it does, FF4 on the SNES, GBA, PSP, and PS1 basically has no real customization. You level, the end. Augments add a degree of customization to it, because you can kind of mix and match abilities, and it kind of becomes a pseudo-class system at that point. Now, that being said, it's not a perfect system, because once you do it, you're done. And several of these can only be gotten on New Game Pluses, and several of them can only be gotten if you basically give things to the wrong people, aka, if you have a walkthrough, basically. So I'm not sure how to rate the augment system, because I love it and dislike it at the exact same time. What I'm thinking about doing is I'll probably put the like into a positive and the negative into an aggregate, because there's another part of the negative which is going to come up later, which I should probably just give away now, so let's go ahead and do that. Let's do that. Yeah. What do you want to bet we'll get another Fallout 76 news before, let's see, before Wednesday? That would be funny. So, negative to gameplay. So, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you'll enjoy this because this is pretty much the only time you're ever going to see this. So here's a plus for the augment system. And we've kind of building up the negative for the augment system. We're going to give a negative to gameplay for New Game Plus. Pretty sure that's the only time you'll ever see me do that. You gotta say it right, Myron. Is that legal? I will make it legal. Yeah, I put that into the negative, Valvadrix. So for those of you not aware, New Game Plus in this game is awful. Just awful. So first of all, you can only do 3 playthroughs of the game total. As in, you can New Game Plus twice. Once through New Game Plus, once second time through New Game Plus, third time, and you're done. That's it. So that's the first problem. The second problem is extremely little carries through. It's the stat buff items, which is the apples and stuff, which you can use, by the way, at any point in time. So if you use them at any time other than the third playthrough, you're wasting them, because they don't carry forward. But the items themselves carry forward. The adamant armor from the pink puff, which is the grindiest thing in the frickin' world, which I've only ever gotten one of ever in my entire life, by the way. Not counting free enterprise, which I will still think about. So, limited number of carry-throughs, very few items carry through. I guess that's actually it, but that summarizes it for me. You get to carry the adamant armor, item buffs, map progression, and augments. Also, this is partially tied into the augment system, that's why I'm bringing this up now. In order to get some of the augments, you can only get them on a repeat playthrough, on a New Game Plus 2 or 3, and only if you do things exactly right. It is a terrible New Game Plus system. Negative to gameplay. So I said I'd talk about free enterprise. So, first of all, I highly recommend if you have any interest in Final Fantasy IV, that you go ahead and give a try to free enterprise. What it is it's a randomizer for Final Fantasy IV, but it's one of the 3 good randomizers in the entire world. I'm not being exaggerative when I say that. Most randomizers are, in my opinion, bad, because all they do is randomize stats or equipment or whatever, which doesn't do anything. It's like, hey, we can randomize which bosses are weak to watch in Mega Man. So? In my mind, a good randomizer is a game that randomizes elements in such a way that challenges your knowledge and skill with the game, rather than trying to basically make it so you're playing a new version of the game. Of which there are only 3. There's the Super Metroid one, and then there's the Legend of Zelda one, and then there's the Final Fantasy IV one. I suppose there's technically a 4th one, because there's also the Legend of Zelda Super Metroid one, but whatever. Aww. Rydia's first thought was, Rosa must really care about him. And then we come through here, and her second thought is, he must really care about her, too. Which he does. Why wouldn't she? He. Anyways, so that's free enterprise. The way it works is you start off... Yeah, it's a randomizer patch for the SNES version. If you just Google free enterprise, or FF4 free enterprise, you'll probably find it. Oh yeah, I should mention that. The way it happens, and the reason it is called that, is because what happens at the very beginning is you start off with the Enterprise. You start the game, and bam, you have the Enterprise. And then you can fly around and do things in basically whatever order. Now, there's a lot of options for exactly how that can happen. So, obviously, there's some malleability into the playstyle. Of course it is, Taquita. I'm sorry. I'm sounding irritable because it took me literally hours across multiple days to actually be able to... Yeah, we're dead. Oh, we've actually died. It took me literally hours across multiple days in order to... Oh yeah, by the way, there's autosave in this game. It's actually a good autosave. To type out all of that crap. And apparently I'm a terrible data entry person because occasionally I would screw up something or occasionally something would be listed twice. I didn't actually notice. Because people would just nominate the same thing twice, or actually in one case, 3 times for a category. Now, I tried to catch most of it. Obviously, I did not. You were informing me of like the 6th or 7th error in the votes at this point. And at this point, I'm just like, whatever. I don't even care right now. Yes, we do, Jinja Ninja. Could someone please link to Jinja Ninja? So, Jinja Ninja. God, I can't talk right now. I got accused of having Asperger's this morning. That was fun. Or Asperger's, or however you're supposed to say that. For the record, I don't. As I've said before, I don't have anything. Other than Rydia dying. I have a lot of Rydia dying. No, we're gonna need a black mage for that one, Tyrannon. Firaga. Weird, I know, Dean Badine. But no, I have been professionally diagnosed as not having anything. Yeah, several movies and games and other things were listed in both the good and the bad category across the board, which didn't surprise me at all. I actually have a weird feeling that at least a few of those were added in specifically to spite people. I'll be giving my own thoughts on that for just about all of them, except for like the anime category, because I haven't watched any of those. I'm not even sure if I typed out their names right. I'm relying on the spreadsheet having the correct names in there, because, oh, I've never heard of this stuff. Then that'll be funny, Tigzar. And also very expected. If that happens, you will see my surprised face. No, Tyrannon. I don't have what you'd call spare time. So if it's not for the show, I generally don't have time to do things, like, at all. And as I just talked about, I've basically spent my last week typing up the votes for that spreadsheet. That's not... God dang it, did I just screw that up? Yeah, I think I did. We're too late to add new nominations, SJ. We spent a full... what is it, like 2 weeks getting nominations? We're past the nominations phase. I can't just edit a vote and add a new thing to it at this point. Not that I disagree with you, by the way. I'm just saying the votes are locked in, or the nominations are locked in. Excuse me. No, Dream Whisperer. We'll see, though. That girl is dead. Oh my god! Yeah, that is basically exactly what happened. I actually literally had to lock down the editable nature of the document in order to fix it. There we go. Let's get some Rydia levels. Just at least a couple. Very low on money. Voting is actually currently started, yes. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Voting is currently open. Lee Andrews. If you're not seeing it, then I didn't design it that well. I do like how the map shows what chests are open or not, by the way. If you look at the very top, the title for every category has a link baked into it, and that link is to the vote for that particular category. I will apparently have to mention that when it comes to the announcement video tomorrow, but voting is open as of this very second. Technically has been for days, as I've been slowly adding the votes bit by bit, because I had to type all that up manually.
You, knight! You wield the dark sword, do you not? I beg you, lend me your aid.
What's happened?
My daughter Anna was tricked by a silver-tongued bard. He's taken her to Damcyan Castle. I fear I've little time. I sense something sinister.
Anna, you said? You must be Tella.
The very same. You can tell because I have glasses. I came in pursuit of my daughter, but I cannot get through the waterway. A great monster lurks in the lake beyond and will not let me past. The devil is strong, I warn you. My magic alone is no match for it, even though it's actually pretty weak to ice. You'd figure an octopus in the water would be weak to lightning, but no, it's weak to ice. But perhaps your dark sword, we might be able to defeat it. And the girl, a summoner, is she not? And one with quite some potential by the looks of it.
Yeah, we need to reach Damcyan too.
And the choice is made for us. Let us make haste.
The sage's spells are a boon, but still, I worry for Rydia.
Wait for me, Anna. Damcyan is just beyond this passage.
The answer to that, Pika, is on the website, but I believe it's the 12th, off the top of my head. There's a big monster up waiting for us up ahead. Oh no. And yes, Dude McGuy, I decided after some debate to do 9 and 6 last. Actually, a lot of things in here are weak to ice, by the way. Not that I know that. Let's go do this really quick. I actually want you to defend on that. And... So Recall is a fascinating ability. That is weird to think about, Tigzar, especially since I've been following it for about 10 years now. 2010 was when I first became aware of the whole concept. Apparently they've been going since before that, which I didn't even know until recently. Anyways, yeah. Yeah, by the way, for those of you who don't frequent the website, as a reminder, we will not be streaming from the 5th to the 12th, because we'll be restreaming AGDQ. Must fill out map for no reason. I mean, I guess you literally get rewards for it, so that is worthwhile. So you cast Recall, and he thinks about it for a minute. He's like, And then he casts Firaga. No, Gordon, it's not on PC yet. So Recall basically recalls a random spell from his large-scale spell list, right? The spell list he'll end up with after Mount Ordeals. Now, the thing is, it still uses his mana. And I've never actually looked into the hard mechanics for this, but near as I can tell, his current existing mana will determine what spells he can recall. So, be aware. Otherwise, he just has the basic spells that Rydia does. There's something weird about the fact that Tella has, you know, such a limited spell slot or spell list at the beginning of the game, and he literally needs a magical augmentation from a Lunarian in order to remember his spell list, but let's not get into that. If you want, I can turn the background off. But yes, the background does move. It's animated. Actually, one of the things I like, there's a lot of gameplay and story integration in this game. One of my favorite little aspects of it is the fact that Tella, as he levels, his physical stats actually go down. I think this is the only time the FF series has ever had someone literally lose stats upon leveling. By the way, they have a different animation for crits, which I actually think is pretty cool. This is what I mean by good interface, by the way. Very informative tooltips, that kind of a thing. And by interface, I mean UI, by which I mean HUD. Trying to get my terminology correct here. Yeah, he's a sage and he's very old, and it does make sense, I agree. Like, I'm not complaining. In fact, I think the recall mechanic's a pretty cool idea. It's basically a form of gambling in gameplay. Except you actually get something out of this one. Oh yeah, it's all over the place, Jinja Ninja. That sounds pretty cool, Dean. Yes, all loot boxes must be amazing. So, I'm sorry, I meant to point this out earlier. No, I'm not doing After Years. Not this time through, anyways. One of the things they really emphasized with this particular version of the game is counter. This is the DS soundtrack, Gordon Twitch, which is not the same as the SNES one, to be clear. I like how she learns Esuna and Poison at the same time, by the way. Anyways, so a lot of enemies, just basic enemies, but also bosses, basically they built into them counter mechanics in order to try and add actual tactics to several of the bosses. Like, for example, those little blob enemies, they have a counterattack that casts rays. Yeah, no, it's still doing it. Hang on. 3DS was having this problem too. Or Steam was having this problem. How did we fix this? I guess we just waited sufficiently long and it just stopped doing it all of a sudden. That's such a weird bug. It's the second time we've had it already. Actually, what I'm honestly thinking about doing is going ahead and giving a gameplay and story integration positive in general. Because there's a lot of that in this game. What do you guys think? Yeah, I've seen that happen too, Zwande. It's or Zwander, how do you say your name? The problem is, I'm not alt-tabbing, which is why I'm confused by it. The reason it does it in this version is anytime a window pops up, like a chat window or a dialog box, sometimes it just goes, and I'm not 100% sure what's causing it. Oh yeah, Tella's mana never goes up either. His MP never goes up. Which is interesting in his own right, because it kind of makes him, well, a wizard, to use the D&D example. He's got a lot of spells, and very few casts of them. It also, of course, is being done so he can't cast Medio even when he learns how to cast it. That's the real reason it's there. Now the question is, where do I put a gameplay and story integration positive? Like, what do I put that under? That's true, Daedalus. Good morning, Baron. Whoops, I should fix that. They actually did do a decent job with Tello, which is interesting because of what they do with him as a character in this game. Although, there is another character they put a fairly large amount of thought into the design gameplay-wise, and that would be Eris over in Final Fantasy IV. So yeah, he counterattacks physical attacks with the hold spell, to use an example of what I was talking about earlier. They really lean on the counter gimmick. I think they do good stuff with it, though. I think it's good. Because they give a lot of different abilities to counter, which allows them to basically change up the strategy for the fights, which I like. Why 4? Well, nobody likes 4, so I figured we might as well get it out of the way, right, Baron? Yeah, see, Braidwood understands. There you go. See, his strength literally went down. It was next, but then I changed my mind. I altered the deal. Pray I don't alter it any further. Oh yeah, speaking of which... Oh, actually, I already saw that thought bubble, didn't I? Yep. No, the real reason is I want to be even more epic. I want to finish with 9 and 6. We'll see how that works out. Okay. So we'll be doing 4 and 5 first. Although doing 4 and 5 back-to-back is going to be really weird. Like switching from what is effectively a DS game to a GBA game. It's going to feel bizarre. By the way, notice in the DS version he starts off with Cura. Just interesting. It's like Lateralis. Lateralis is just so completely different from Final Fantasy VII that I don't even know how to explain him properly. Weird, really. That's okay, he's still awesome. Thank you very, very much for the sub, Lateralis. Very much appreciated as always, sir. Thank you. And, on the off chance you know which stream you'd like to put that towards, as far as increasing interest or priority, let me know. Either way, thank you again. So, 4, 5, and 6 also share one other trait, ironically. They're all probably going to get the same negative. Encounter rate. The only one I'd want to see in a bathing suit in Final Fantasy IV is Valvalus. Wait. I'm sorry, that's a dumb joke. Legend of Dragoon, you got it. Although that means I have to alt tab, so I'm going to wait till the menus are done here. Ironically, I would say this one, Lee Andrews. I've been asked that question many, many times, and my answer is always this one. Ever since this version came out, I should say. Lateralis, Legend of the Dragoon. You got it. Thank you again. So, this exact version of this game, on normal mode, is probably the best overall one to do. I called, in my Twitter this morning, I called this the seminal Final Fantasy. And I stand by that firmly. This is the seminal Final Fantasy. This is what defines the series, for good and for bad. And if you want to know if you're going to like the rest of the series, this is where you start. I agree, Estus Flakes, which is exactly why I recommend it first. If you don't like this, you probably shouldn't even bother with the rest. The magic field cast by these circles keeps monsters at bay. Remain within and you are safe. You can use tents and cottages and even save within these circles. We'll use my tent here. We need to recover our strength before we face the beast. And have some voice acting. Oh, never mind. No voice acting. Asleep already. She must have been exhausted. Child. Where's she from? She's a summoner from the Village of Mist. Indeed, then my eyes were not mistaken. She has great potential. With practice and training, she should be able to master many spells. Yeah, she becomes a much better caster than Tella or Fusoya. Such a darling little face, too. She reminds me of my Anna when she was young. Your daughter? My one and only. Deceived by some wandering bard and whisked away to Damcian. All because I refused to give them my blessing. And you? What drives you to Damcian? A friend of mine is suffering from desert fever in Kaipo. I see. So you seek a sand pearl. That haste drives you as well. Even my magic cannot avail you against the foe you face. This monster of the lake, what manner of creature is it? A vicious one. 8 massive, writhing tentacles. But if we are to save your friend and my Anna, we must find a way to slay it. I pray these premonitions of mine are only an old man's fretting, but if they are proved true, our time is short. Go and save. Thankfully, there actually is a pretty good autosave in this game, so I'm not going to be as worried about saving as I normally am, but still a good habit to be in. Let's go and do that really quick. Hi, Mukul, by the way. Sorry I didn't say hi earlier. I've heard a lot of people say that Dark Souls 1 is the best designed gameplay-wise of the Dark Souls series, which is why I usually hear it recommended as the first one. Congrats, Zero. That's a lot of stuff to slog through, so... No, I actually rarely recommend someone start a new franchise from the very beginning. I mean, I have a couple of times, I think. I'm going to be saving, don't worry about it. They did, but Mukul, if you want to put it towards something too, just let me know. I can just adjust the spreadsheet later. Spoiled for quality. There's a weird problem to have. Yeah, skip Assassin's Creed 1. That's a good example of that. Don't start Star Trek with the original series. Don't start Doctor Who with Series 1. I can think of a few others if I thought about it. Oh yeah, don't start Mega Man with Mega Man 1. That's another one. Honestly, I think one of the only examples there is Star Wars, and even that's kind of a... Actually, you know what? Let's do this. I like how swapping is the whole party rather than just one person, by the way. That's kind of a cool little thing. Zelda, yeah. I never recommend you start Zelda with the Zelda 1. If people are trying to get into Zelda, I usually recommend they start with LTTP, see if that works for them. Or Ocarina, depending on the person in question. Hello, Pave Maniac. It has been asked many times, but it's okay. I just changed my mind. What happened was last night I was sitting here, and I often continue processing a review in my head after I'm done with it. In fact, I actually gave FF7 a positive that I forgot to give it. Like, I'd already given it, but I forgot to write it down, so I had to do that. But as I was thinking about that, I was like, you know what? I really would rather finish with 6 and 9. Those are the two darling childs. Those are the two big uns, right? So... I was debating it, and I forgot. I actually meant to ask in Discord last night, and I forgot because I spent the entire evening typing up those frickin' votes. Seriously, I spent my whole evening doing that. And a chunk of this morning. But anyways, I finally said, screw it, let's just do it. 4, 5, 9, 6. Or 4, 5, 6, 9. I haven't decided which yet. Classic series, Dr. Blue Wolf. I rarely recommend people start with the first Doctor, let's put it that way. This is going to sound weird, but I kind of like how they do targeting in this one. In several of the 3D FFs, they didn't really know how to do targeting properly. Like, I've actually complained about that as we go. 10 and 8 both have that problem, and 7 occasionally had that problem. But here, it's a menu. It's literally just a menu on the left. So, also all is over there too. I could see starting StarCraft with StarCraft 1, yeah. Hey, Max Time. It is good to see you, dude. I'm sorry we're not playing 9, but I decided to push it back for reasons that'll probably make sense if you think about it for a second. Yeah, the difficulty in procuring it is part of the problem, Blue Wolf Alex. I actually personally think Troughton is a great Doctor, and I like several First Doctor stories, but you can understand why I wouldn't recommend someone start Doctor Who with that. My introduction to Doctor Who was the 4th Doctor, thanks to my mom. Yeah, StarCraft 1 does have some very serious issues. But it's still good enough that I think it's an acceptable starting point for getting into the StarCraft franchise. Now, Warcraft, I usually recommend people start with Warcraft 3 if they want to get into the Warcraft franchise. To go back to the same concept there. Yeah, Pokemon. That's another one. Although, funnily enough, Pokemon's interesting enough, because I could just recommend people start with the remakes of Gen 1 of Pokemon. Right? I mean, it's technically Gen 3, but it's good stuff, in my opinion. One of their better remakes, in my opinion. And yeah, Reforged is coming out soon, which may or may not be better. We'll see. We'll review it when we get there. Yeah, Yellow's not bad, but see, the thing is, if the remakes didn't exist, I would just recommend people start with Gen 2. Like it or not, in my opinion, Gen 2 is really substantially better designed than Gen 1, like across the board. Like, better music, better encounter design, better Pokemon design, better balance, better bug design, better stat design, better leveling path, better post-game, better stories, plural. Like, it's weird how much the game improved over, you know, Gen 1. Yeah, Psychic was ridiculously broken in Gen 1. A lot of things were. In the not well-designed kind of broken. The split of stats between special defense and special attack was really necessary, in my opinion. Iridia already has Cura. I have actually played the original Resident Evil, as in the original Resident Evil. I also don't recommend people start Resident Evil with the very first Resident Evil. Actually, no. I do have to admit, my opinion should probably be ignored when it comes to Resident Evil, because my favorite Resident Evil game is the Resident Evil 2 remake that came out this year. So, ignore me. I'm sorry, someone asked a question about the voting. The votes will be open for the next 2 weeks. If you can't find the votes, look at the spreadsheet and look at the links that are in the category names. That each of those link to a separate vote for that particular category. Like, I make no hesitation or apology for how much I loved RE2R. It was really, really good, in my opinion. I have to admit, I'm actually not much of a Resident Evil fan. Not really. And I loved that game. I wasn't expecting to, too. That might be coloring my opinion a bit. Because I walked in being like, okay, I reserve the right to quit playing this. Like, you remember that? I talked about that when we walked in. And God, I loved the hell out of it. I'm glad you're not in pain today, Platy. Congratulations. Yeah, Zero Mission absolutely qualifies as a proper remake. When we get to the Metroid pseudo-lore run, we're actually going to be playing Zero Mission instead of 1. No, I want to go this way. Filling out the map like a normal person would. We're definitely Korean methoding here. As I said, there's the ghoul. I am too. I'm actually very curious what'll end up. I'm also, like, separate to the results. I'm going to go and give my own opinions. But I'm going to do that after the polls have finished, because I don't want to influence anybody with my opinion. I'm probably going to either disagree or disagree massively with whatever the poll results are. Yeah, I didn't play Resident Evil 7, because by that point, Capcom was kind of on my blah list. But I've heard from a lot of people that Resident Evil 7 is actually quite good. And, you know, more diehard fans of the series were like, oh my god, this is actually really good. Holy crap. Like, that's an actual reaction I've heard from people. Wait, it's actually good? Speaking of first games I don't recommend, Mario Brothers 1. Let's just keep that train going. Poor Tella. He tries to celebrate and then his back hurts. I feel bad for him. First Donkey Kong. Yeah, I think you know the answer to that one. Although, that being said, first Donkey Kong Country... Honestly, upon replay, I think I would recommend, if you want to start the Donkey Kong Country series, you start with the first one. Which, again, is a result that kind of surprised me. Yeah, don't start with Grand Theft Auto 1. That's another good example of that. I think it's 5. HOM 5 is the one on the list for playing. I don't remember. It's one of them. Yeah, I also don't recommend you start Grand Theft Auto with 3, but that's neither here nor there. At this point, I recommend, if you're not sure if you like Grand Theft Auto, you start with 5. If nothing else, it's the easiest to get a hold of and to get running. If you like that, okay, sure. Go try some stuff out. Oh, sorry, Dude McGuy. Actually, people have suggested that. I don't think I wrote it down yet, so let's go ahead and turn on auto battle and write that down. At the very least, I think I'm going to put it under gameplay for now. Or I could put it under an aggregate for both. So, Dude McGuy, I haven't decided where I want to put that positive, because I agree, there's actually a lot of good gameplay and story integration in 4. Probably more so than most of the FFs. I don't know where to put it, though. I could do one to each. I'm not shy about giving out positives if I feel they're deserved. I was also thinking about putting an aggregate into both. So, for those of you not aware, what Darkness does is it saps a little bit of Cecil's health in order to increase his attack power temporarily. Now, I point that out because if you played the Japanese original SNES version or the GBA version, what Darkness does is it does an AoE attack, which saps a bit of his health. Put simply, I don't think it's really worth doing unless we're on a boss, when it comes to this game. It's good for boss cracking, but not for trash. Excuse me, it was also that in the PS1 version. I don't remember the PS1 version that well. I've only played through it once. You'll notice they balanced the mana quite well, actually. I have yet to run out of mana in this place, which I point out because if you've played the SNES version, by now you're probably running out of MP. So help me think of examples, core examples. So we've got Rydia is an example of gameplay and story integration. Tella is an example of gameplay and story integration. Cecil, when he becomes a paladin, is an example of gameplay and story integration. Help me out, guys. I know there's others. I suppose I could say this, the very existence of that, but let's not do that. I've already given that a positive. Palom and Porum? Actually, I'll give you that. Yeah, what's interesting is this game leans pretty heavily on the casters for most of it. Like, by the end game, your casters can do really mean damage. It's not to say that, but see, the thing is, it's not like the physicals are useless. Kain and Cecil both are extremely good damage dealers, who basically become the tanks. Because the casters are actually very squishy in this version. We must travel outside for a time. The monster dwells at the base of the waterfall beyond. It may be wise to pitch a tent before we go. Excuse me, another tent. Tella is a fascinating design perspective thing. So you'd think someone like him would be the, I forget the Fire Emblem term, for someone who's supposed to carry you, right? But he's not, actually. In fact, if anything, you are carrying Tella. No, what Tella is another character. In a game like this, action economy actually is fairly important. And he is designed to be someone who you need to... Just having another person there who has access to another cure spell, or another blizzard spell, or the ability to use items, by itself makes him a worthwhile contribution to the party. And I actually really like his inclusion into that, as far as the gameplay design perspective of things. No, the next character we will be getting that is, you know, a substantial change to the overall dynamic of the party will be Yang. There it is. I knew I had a few. That's another one. Edward is another example of gameplay story integration. I agree. Why would a monster make its den in a cave frequented by men? With a Dark Knight and a summoner, that beast stands no chance. I'm afraid, but we have to help her. How are we at in tents? Oh, we've got several. We're good, we're good. That's right, because I've been filling out the maps. So yeah, I think that's a decent number of examples. I'm going to give 2 pluses for it, because... Screw you. In my defense, I've actually given the story gameplay integration thing to both story and gameplay in multiple games before now. That's not the first time I've done that particular thing, so... We have a little bit of a precedence for that. it makes you feel any better, I guarantee you there's going to be a story negative when we go to the moon the last time. You could start Castlevania with Castlevania 1. I usually recommend people start Castlevania with Soten, but that admittedly gives a bit of the wrong impression of what Castlevania is about. So.
There's no turning back from here. The beast awaits us down below.
That is the one, Pay Maniac. That is just... I hate that scene and everything about it. It is a terrible scene in basically every way. Aww. Okay, Aethel. If you don't want to join us, I understand. Didn't want you to join us anyways. Actually, I usually recommend people start Command & Conquer with Command & Conquer Red Alert. While there are issues with the first game, Red Alert was a substantially better designed game than Command & Conquer 1 was. And Command & Conquer 2, 3, and 4 kinda suck, with one notable exception. So, you know, I usually recommend people just kind of go up the Resident Evil chain, or excuse me, the Resident Evil, the Red Alert, the other RE chain of 1, 2, 3. I actually like all three Red Alert games quite a lot. I was reminded of something recently. Do you know Red Alert 3 has full campaign co-op? Do you know how few RTSs have full campaign co-op? I can't even think of any other ones off the top of my head. Like, I'm sure there's one somewhere. For all three campaigns, too. Yeah, EA strangled that game. It actually sort of... Okay, Red Alert 3 is a very good RTS. Not just good. Very good. Now, that's my opinion, obviously. But EA basically choked that one off. They didn't advertise it well at all. They didn't support it well at all, and they cut off support very quickly. They basically tried to downplay the game, so it didn't sell particularly well. Because EA. I'm actually pretty sure, I don't have the actual numbers, but I wouldn't be surprised, let me put it that way. I wouldn't be surprised if that stupid Command & Conquer mobile game has made more money than Red Alert 3, which is sad. Before, I'm pretty sure, Ventures. Generals was good, which is another one that was kind of chopped off at the knees, funnily enough. Generals is one of those games that fans of RTS tend to like, but people who aren't already fans of RTSs tend to have never heard of CNC Generals, which is a damn shame. I liked Total Annihilation. Yeah, absolutely. It's another one of those flawed but great games. Now, Planetary Annihilation kinda sucked. Like, I was hoping it would be a lot better than it was, but Supreme Commander was pretty damn good. I had a lot of fun with those. If you don't understand why I'm listing all three of those, that's basically the same series. It goes from Total Annihilation to Supreme Commander to Planetary Annihilation. That's the franchise. The Annihilation franchise, as I like to call it. I did a rumination on those, I believe. At some point. Oh god, can someone do me a favor? Just really quick, look up how much money Command & Conquer Mobile's making. Like, if there's any figures for it. Publicly available. I'm actually kind of curious. I never remember. Which one was the HOM I played on stream? I didn't do a full playthrough. I just played it for one day for some random thing I was doing. It was 3? Okay. I actually liked 3 when I was playing it. And I don't remember which one I played back in the day, but I liked whichever one it was. Well, Platy, if it keeps coming back to you, that's the time when you just throw it away or open it. Like, you've done your due diligence on that one. Sorry. So, you ever wonder if, like, the world is just wrong? I'm sorry, that's a hell of a leading question, isn't it? Let me start from a different angle. Imagine if for a moment we had the ability to somehow magically test a theory, right? And see what the results were. So, for example, Dean Badine pointed out accurately that the phone market is the largest gaming market in the entire world, and he is correct on that. Now, I wonder if we could just kind of change reality for a second and make it so that all of the mobile games are actually good. Like, they're legitimately good mobile games. And instead of doing the ridiculous, mobage, absolutely drivel, indecent, inhuman crap that they do to try and rip money out of unsuspecting people, you paid 10 or 5 or 3 or $15 or whatever, and you bought a mobile game. The question that becomes, I wonder if that would make more or less money than the current system. Because the argument could be very strongly held that it would make less money than the current system. Which means the world is wrong. Just to put a pin on that one. Basically, the idea is the only way to make more money is to be awful. Like to do bad business practices, to do underhanded, shady, skunk grok. And that's the only way to actually make money in reality. Just... Anyways, boss time! First real boss. I wonder how much money Apple Arcade's making, because apparently Apple Arcade has legitimately good games on it. I have to presume, because I don't actually know, because I physically am incapable of getting Apple Arcade. I'd have to update my phone to be able to access it at all. Which is really, really irritating, by the way. Anyway, sorry, someone asked about the Tiberium series. There is one Tiberium game I think is a good game. And I never remember which one it is, but it's the one where the Skrin were introduced. I'm pretty sure that's the one that had Billy D. Williams in it. That one I liked. One introduced me to the genre of RTS along with Warcraft 1. So, I mean, 1 gets its props, but I don't really consider 1 to be that good of a game. 2 I actively consider to be a fairly bad game. 4 I consider to be a pretty terrible game. 3 was good. The Red Alerts probably could be, Baron, but I would rather not lore run the CNCs. For the reasons I basically just told you. By the way, notice he's actually weak to thunder in this version, which is interesting. So apparently he's only weak to Blizzard on the SNES version, which you're probably thinking, how do you even know that lore? Speedruns. I've actually followed quite a bit of FF4 speedrunning for a long time at this point. That's true, Almateria. And that's one of the reasons why I have that saying, which I like to say every now and again. Things are bad, but they're not hopeless. Like, things could be a lot worse. You're kidding, Dean Badine. No, of course you're not kidding. I agree, Weoz. I usually use the distinction mobile games and mobage, but even that's not really fair, if I'm being honest. Damn, boy. Like I said, I'm told Apple Arcade has good phone games. I don't know. I'm physically incapable of playing them. Damsian is only a little farther. Be strong, Rosa. Damsian lies just ahead. I'm on my way, Anna. I did it. I wonder if I have the same kind of power my mother did. I mean, you literally have Chocobo right now, dude. Ed. It's pseudo-random, okay. No. Can you guess what I didn't like about Tiberium 2 primarily, Mukul? Just to see if we have any of the similar thoughts on that one. Oh yeah, sorry. The Red Wings, but at whose command? Anna, oh my sweet Anna. It's burning, just like my village did. Have I mentioned that one of the things I love about the thought bubbles is it actually adds to the characterization, which is otherwise somewhat lacking? Anna, oh Anna. Yeah, no, pathfinding is the cheating answer, and that's not the one I was thinking of. No, it's actually the story. See, there's serious stories, Command & Conquer. Then there's cheesy stories, Red Alert 2. And then there's games that try to be both and fail at both, and that's CNC 2. Like, I kind of get where they were going with it, but wow. I'll never forget the GDI ending. Just... There were some good scenes, don't mistake me. You know, Kane lives! But, yeah, anyways. They probably didn't bomb Mysidia because Cecil was in command of the Red Wings at the time, Chai Guy. You'll remember that by this point, Golbez has taken over as Lord Captain of the Red Wings. You're that bard. You're the one responsible for this. No, please. I actually like how Edward looks in this version. You spooty bard! Because, of course, they kept that line in the translation. I would have. Please, things are not as you believe. What I like about CNC Red Alert 3, everything. It's got campaign co-op mode, it's got wonderful cheesiness, it's got great actors who are just having fun on camera. It's got surprisingly excellent balance between the three sides, and a huge variety of units, which do a lot of things other than just blow up the enemy. The map design is fantastic, with only a couple of exceptions. All three campaigns are excellent. Like, I could keep going. Red Alert 3 was just a great RTS. I've actually never played Red Alert 3's expansion. I have played Red Alert 2's, which it wasn't as good as Red Alert 2, in my opinion. I agree with that idea, Kira White Noise. Now I'm going to shut up because an actual serious scene is about to play.
Oh, Anna! There's life left in you yet.
Father. Edward, he is the Prince of Dampian. He disguised himself as a bard to avoid attention. Forgive me, Father, for running off with him. Edward, I'm in love with him, Father. But I could not stay without my father's blessing. I was about to return when...
The Red Wings laid siege to us, led by a man named Golbez.
Golbez?
Yes. A figure clad in armor of deepest night, his strength beyond that of mortal man.
And the Red Wings' purpose?
Our crystal. And then they rained fire upon us. I lost my mother and father. Then Anna tried to shield me from their arrows.
You love this man that much?
Father, please, forgive me. I was so selfish. Edward, I love you.
Anna!
Anna? Anna! This Golbez, tell me more of him.
I've heard he came to Baron only recently. It seems he's using the Red Wings to steal crystals.
Tears do not bring back the dead, boy. Anna's death must be avenged. I'll find this Golbez.
Tella, not alone.
She was not your daughter. Her killer will die by my hand.
Anna!
Coward. You're a man, aren't you? A grown man. Stop crying. I have.
Rydia.
You're right. I'm nothing but a coward, just as you say. That's why I'm just going to stay at Anna's side. It doesn't matter anymore. Nothing does.
You're not the only one who's grieving. Anna would not wish to see you fawning like a fool. Please. I've desperate need of your help right now.
But how could I help you?
My name is Cecil. A friend of mine has taken ill with desert fever in Kaipo and needs a sand pearl if she is to live. And for that, I've need of your aid.
You need my aid?
I do. Rosa's life depends on it. I beg you.
This woman you speak of, she means a great deal to you, doesn't she? As Anna did. As Anna did to me. In a cave far to the east dwells a monstrous creature known as an antlion. The pearls you seek form from the fluid the beast secretes as it lays its eggs in the sand. There is no overland route to its den. We must cross the northern shoals to get there. A hovercraft is docked here. With it we can reach the creature's cave. It can bear us across the surf to Kaipo as well. Come. We must hurry. Farewell, my love.
Two things I like about that scene, not that I'm aware of enters. The first thing I like about it is that Tella basically refuses to grieve. You caught that, right? He immediately swallows his feelings and just goes like, rather than actually, processing what he's feeling at the time, which makes a lot of sense. In fact, he won't even really process what he's feeling until much later. Second thing I like about it is that I've always liked the idea that the only thing that really makes Edward decide to help us and knock out of it is because of the fact that we're looking for the help of our love. Our love, I mean, Edward probably relates to that personally, since Anna, but also because he's a bard and he's kind of a romantic in general. So... With this, we can reach the Antlion's den. It will be much longer, Rosa. I escorted Anna to Damcyan in this same hovercraft. Oh, Anna. Whoop, wrong button. Ah, it's doing that bug again. Ah, I can fly over water. God, this bug is weird. Man. Last time it just stopped. Let's see if we can Alt-Tab and fix it. Nope. This is the weirdest freaking bug. It's just mashing X if you're wondering what's going on here. Like it's the same thing as it was doing earlier, just mashing left. There we go. Apparently I just need to wait a minute for it to stop. That's the weirdest freaking bug. Anyways. I didn't play Tiberium 2's expansion, sorry. That's the third time that's happened this playthrough. This is the Steam version. I don't remember if we had this problem last time. It might be the new controller, because I was using the PS3 controller last time. But then again, I haven't had this problem on anything otherwise, so... Big picture mode? I'll mess with that later. I don't know how to deal with that in streaming. Alright, so... I've been thinking about this. I'm going to pencil in a story positive. Voice acting. I think it's it for now. So you notice, okay. Tellah was just kind of another party member, but, you know, useful support, as was mentioned earlier. Well, now we get Edward. Now, Edward sucks. He's actually made better in this version, but he is still substantially worse than any other party member we will ever get. Again, though, that doesn't really bother me, and you'll notice that one of the only dungeons he's mandatory for where we have to rely on him is this one, which is deliberately designed to be easier than any other dungeon up to this point in time. They also improved the value of his procs this time around, you'll notice. Like, basically, Edward becomes more of a status effect machine than he did in the original version, where he was just straight up useless. And yeah, he gets the salve ability, which is actually kind of nice. I suppose I should show that off briefly. Although... yeah, so salve basically spreads out an item to the whole party. Bard song is exactly what it sounds like. It's a bard song. I don't know. Should try that out. Although I don't have a lot of ways to try that out. I guess I could just try and see what happens. Alright, hang on. Sue. Let's have her. Kill everything. So, it looks like, no, I can't use it on Maiden's Kiss or Golden Needle, for example. I can use it on eye drops, though. So I can use it on eye drops and antidotes, but not Golden Needle, Maiden's Kiss, or diet rations. I can't use it on high potions, but I can use it on potions. And yeah, I could also AoE Phoenix Downs. That's nice. But that's a weird selection. So what do we got for songs right now? Enemy to Sleep, Confuse Enemy, and Silence Enemy. Let's see what our success rate is on this. Yeah, Edward's harps all do status effects. That was useless. Status effects on hit. Like, all of them do. Which is the thing that makes him a little bit more useful. I do think they balanced him to be better than completely useless in this version, but he is still noticeably worse than Tellah, which, again, makes sense. It's that gameplay story integration thing again. Maybe it's just the inclusion of the minimap, but I also like how they approach the dungeon design in 4. It's not phenomenal, nothing really to write home about. But I do like the overall flow of most of the dungeons in this game. Pretty much all the dungeons follow a fairly static pattern. There's a main trunk that leads directly to wherever you want to go, and then there's occasional branches which lead off to treasure. The treasure is almost always worth picking up because they have good item distribution in this game. And of course you can fill out the map. Filling out the map gets you even more items, and in some cases spells and equipment, so... Or not spells, sorry, but augments, there we go. So we just got a new song. A buff song. So let's see what this does. I think that's what I usually... No, I think I usually set him up as the haste auto battle. I don't remember. But yeah, it basically gives us a regen effect, which is pretty nice for this point in the game. It only lasts for a couple rounds, but still. An AoE heal, even a relatively small one, that's useful. And it costs him nothing other than his turn, which, I mean, whatever, right? Now, there's an interesting question. Does good balance across party members qualify as a positive or a neutral? Because that's a question we're going to have to come up with in 4, 6, and 9. All three of these games have pretty well-balanced party members. It didn't really come up in 7 because there wasn't really a lot of variance in 7 other than, you know, limit breaks. Didn't come up in 10 because of the sphere grid. Didn't come up in 12 because of the license board, etc., etc. So these are some of the first FFs where this has actually been a thing. I was going to do something right. I was going to set his auto to that. Oh, right. So this is a really weird thing you can do. I just accidentally did this. So you can set it so that rather than having, like, salve, you can actually just have salve be use a golden needle, right? Or rather than having... here, let me use Riddy as an example. I could have white magic, or I could have cure, and I could just set it up so that cure is on her menu. I actually like this degree of menu customization. The only downside with it is you're limited by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can only have the 5 slots. It's kind of like FF5 like that. You know how you had the slots for the jobs? But what I want to do is I want to set this up. And I want this to be back to here. And we'll set this to that. There we go. Well, it's interesting you say that, Chai Guy, because I think that's the exact opposite is true. The characters need to be balanced because the game always knows which characters you'll have in the party at any given point in time. And with the lack of, you know, materia or... what's it called? You know, sphere grid or whatever like that, you have to make sure that the characters are roughly what they need to be for the point of the game that you're going to be at. In short, if Edward was a Sten, that would be a problem. God, there are way too many characters in Dissidia Omnia Opera. My goodness. I've lost track at this point. I keep debating if I should pick it back up again, but eh. I suppose that's fair, though. Good party balance is something that is what should be. Definitely not looking for more pluses to give to FF4, 5, and 6, and 9. Or excuse me, 4, 6, and 9. Sorry. I will say this. I think 4, 6, and 9 hit the best balance point when it comes to homogenization versus hyper-specialization. I've actually talked about that concept extensively, especially in the ruminations that I did for this way, way, way back in the day. Basically, the original 4, I think, was too linear. You had no customization whatsoever. 10 and 12, the original 12, have too much customization. There's functionally no difference between characters. I like it more when it's in the middle. And I think in 4 DS, we have the augments, which helps. In 6, all the characters are fairly different, and then you have Magicite, so that's awesome. And in 9, all the characters are different, you can decide what they learn within their particular class, which is good. So you still have some customization in all 3 games, but it's not too far in either direction. I'm not sure which one I like best of those. I'd have to think about that. Character who in FF who is by default overpowered. Are we counting tactics? Because Orlando would probably qualify for that. So mainline FFs. Some people would argue Fusoya. I actually disagree completely. Fusoya is surprisingly well balanced. Because he has access to great spells, terrible HP growth, terrible defenses. Like, he is the quintessential glass cannon. You have to very carefully use him. Also, his mana pool isn't anywhere near as big as Rose's or Rydia's. Whoop, wrong button. Actually, let's do this. Oh my god! Do you need help hiding the bodies, Crazy Horse? I still think the reason we beat Kuja was because he let us to be blonde, but let's not get into that right now. I will give you that if you know what you're doing, Edge, Shadow, and Amarant are all overpowered for exactly the same reason. Throwing. Square has a thing with ninjas. So ninjas tend to have the ability to just kind of whoosh. I suppose that's true, Almateria. It's one of the reasons I try to point out when something does something good, even if it's not necessarily a positive. Because, well, let's be honest, because doing something bad is more normal. Yeah, I guess, Valvedrix. I have to admit, I don't use Amarant all that much, so I can't speak to that all that well. In fact, I'm pretty sure I didn't even know Amarant was worth a damn until the speedrun. The first speedrun I saw, which was 2012, I think, at this point. Monks in FFT are ridiculous. One of these days I actually want to do a playthrough of FFT where I literally just have a party of monks. Actually, let's see what this does. I'm actually curious. Because I legitimately think a party of monks could actually work. There is, if you type in !archive, Gordon Twitch, it'll give you a link to the entire list. And it's all big not spreadsheet, table. Sortable table. I mean, monks are pretty damn good in 5, too. Anytime you get a monk in 5, it's like, whew, there's the first 2 worlds not have to worry about. Mm, 10-2 did that, Starscream, if we want to get technical. And 10, actually. So 10 and 10-2 both did that. But otherwise, I don't think so, no, Starscream. Also, in the interest of fairness, it was actually the Invincible that did that. Terran Tech and all that. Of course, Gordon. There's a reason I have all those commands set up. I wouldn't even give Garland credit for that. He's just a bot. For like the first time in the entire game, I'm having to think about my MP. Probably because I'm casting every turn, because, you know, Tella is gone. Aw, see you around, Lee Andrews. Hope to see you in the future. I stream basically every day from about 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to about 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Or 7 p.m., excuse me, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Did I take a drink? I don't even remember if I took a drink. I'm trying to keep track of like 7 things at once here. Please forgive me. That's true. 6 does allow you to change your party substantially. Which is interesting because if you think about it, you can always tell which games have a main character and which games don't. Because the games that have a main character literally do not allow you to swap that character out of the party. The games that don't allow you to make a party of whomever. In FF6, you can make a party of Mog, Gal, Umaro, and Gogo if you really want to. You're physically incapable of doing that in 7. With one exception, Cloud is always in the party. And with a few exceptions, Zidane is always in the party in 9, and Squall is always in the party in 8, and blah, 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 blah. Just an interesting way to track how much of a main character there is in some of these games. By the way, not to comment on this, but Chrono Trigger allows you to swap party members at will, but only after a certain point. So they kind of dance in the middle of that one. Yeah, Sid, Tifa, and Cloud. Apropos. Well, those are the characters that have the least to do with the story eventers, which is my point. The fact that you have the freedom to do that is different than, again, FF7 or 9 or 8. I'd say 10, but 10 bounces out of that one in a weird way, because technically, your entire party is with you in 10, which is just good, but also awful at the exact same time. What do you mean, Crazy Norse? I already got one. Dang it. Yeah, Chrono is the Dragon Quest character. In fact, one of the biggest arguments I ever hear for Chrono Trigger being a Dragon Quest game is Chrono himself. He is very clearly a Dragon Quest main character. I could see an argument that the character abilities aren't that well balanced in FF6, but I would argue the characters are well balanced in Final Fantasy VI. Realm, after all, has the highest magic defense and magic assault stats in the entire game. Locke, despite only having steel, has the highest speed in the entire game, which actually helps to make him very good, and he can equip a huge amount of weapons. In fact, he can equip most of the main weapons in the game. Cyan, while you know, he's got his own issues, and that's absolutely true, nevertheless has a unique equipment setup which allows him to set himself up basically as a tank. Going back to Realm for a second, she has the ability to equip rods, which not everyone can actually use properly. And because of her stats, she can use those to very good effect, and blah blah. You get my point. I do think there is some good balance in the design of the characters, just not the design of the abilities. So, the way it works for me, Crazy Norse, as far as ratings, is if you have one save slot, that's a negative, for reasons I've covered like a dozen times at this point. 2 save slots is not good, but it's at least acceptable, and so is 3. The correct answer at this point is basically like 5 up, I would say. Or infinite, you know, however much room you have. But at the very least, in my opinion, you need to have at least 2 save slots, otherwise there's just problems. This is where the antlion lays her eggs. This is actually an interesting plot point. There's nothing to fear. Antlions are very docile. They won't harm humans. There are plenty of games with only one slave slot. Some of them are because of tech issues, and then there's ones that are not. Nope, wrong button. Oh, god damn it! I didn't even... So, one of the things they did, which I actually really like, is they changed the way several of the bosses work. In this case, they made it so that he counterattacks physical attacks sometimes, and magical attacks the rest of the time. And you can tell based on the color of his eyes. And I actually like that. I think that's good design. Oh god, I'm gonna give this game a plus to boss design, aren't I? I was just thinking about what they did with a lot of the other bosses going forward. There are, in fact, NES games with multiple save slots, that is correct. But yeah, Pokemon 1? Okay. Like, if we ever reviewed, we're not going to, but if we ever reviewed Pokemon Gen 1, I would be willing to give it a pass for one save slot, because there are hardware limitations with the original Game Boy. DS and onwards, however, You notice Edward is just healing the party regularly in the side there. See you around, Myron. It's okay, I won't be streaming again until tomorrow anyways. So I hope to see you for tomorrow, for the extremely brief lore week. And then more FF4. That's an interesting question. I've heard some people say, oh my gosh, we don't want duplicate Pokemon. I'm curious how you would do that exactly. I'm sorry, Venters. Have you ever played a Dragon Quest? I'm guessing not. Yeah, I'm going to chop off in a little under half an hour here. I need to chop off a little early because I need to get ready to go. Okay, so what do I need to explain, Venters? He's a mute who has nothing really to do with the plot other than being kind of thrown into it. He's good at weapon damage, he's good at magic, and he's good at healing. And he's basically considered the main character even though he has the least characterization of anyone present. I don't know what else to add to that, really. So you catch something, and then you save. And then you trade it to, like, someone else? And then you reload the other... I guess that's true, because you can make two copies of the same save, and you can trade one away and then give the other one. So, okay, I guess you're right. I still don't see the problem with that, but you're right, you could do that. Makes no sense. Why would an antlion try to harm us? Monster populations are swelling, and beasts once harmless now turn docile. Or, excuse me, hostile, the opposite of docile. Something is afoot. Yes, this is actually a main plot point that they don't address as much as they need to. You could reload if you didn't catch the legendaries, but you can already do that. But yeah, it's actually a plot point that monsters are getting worse and more, and normal animals are basically becoming monsters. And it's all thanks to Zemus, because he is just that pissed. Boy needs to chill out. Actually, that's a good point. It forces you to save when you trade. Although you could still use the other slot. I still don't see why that's a particularly bad thing. Oh no, we can get multiple Pikachus. I might be able to actually get multiple copies of a Pokemon, so I could give one to my friends and still have one for myself. The horror! I can't think of a more terrifying fate. I mean, as is, what I usually do is as soon as I get a Pokemon, I will breed the sucker with Dittos, so I have multiple copies of it to give away to people. I did that during the Sword and Shield run. And that's what I've been doing for years at this point. Every year, hundreds of Pikachus are bought and sold on the undermarket. Please, don't trade. I can't say it with a straight face. Don't trade Pokemon. You're taking hard-earned money away from the Pokemon Company, who is just a poor indie development studio with very little funding to their name. Although, you want to hear facts that disgust me of the day. Pokemon Go made more money than, like, Pokemon Sword and Shield, which... I don't even understand how Pokemon Go makes money at all, to be completely blunt. Granted, I haven't played it in years, but when I played it, there was no need to spend money on anything. You just play the game, in Bojang. But no, it's making lots of money for some reason. It's one of the best-selling mobile games ever. To this day, I looked it up recently. I think it's like number 3 on the list right now. I don't know why I need that. I know exactly where I'm going. Sorry, I know I've literally sped-run this game. I've actually worked on a TAS of this game. Didn't finish it. I do free enterprise runs of this game. I know this game really well, okay? I'm trying really hard to pretend I don't. I guess that's true. I'd rather Pokemon Go make money than, say, FF15 New Empire, to use a direct example. Because FF15 New Empire deserves to die in a fire. Remember back when you had to actually use items on people? First time I ever saw this on the SNES version, I was like, oh god, what do I use on her? And I used like a potion. Didn't do anything. It wasn't called potion, it was called heal or something like that. But I was like, come on, heal! No, it didn't do anything. Damn. There it is. How do you res some with this sand pearl? Fling! Bog. Oh, Cecil, you're safe, thank goodness. What were you thinking, Rosa? They told me you died in the earthquake at Mist. But I knew it couldn't be true. Forgive me, I didn't mean to make you worry, but Rosa, what's this talk of a man named Golbez? The king called upon him to lead the Red Wings in your stead. His Majesty had been acting even more peculiarly since Golbez came to Baron. He's not himself. I can't be sure, but I have a feeling Golbez is the one manipulating the king, to gain the crystals for himself. The water crystal you took from Mazidia and the fire crystal of Damcian. Fabul's wind crystal and the earth crystal of Troya. I still prefer Terroria, but whatever. The fire crystal's already taken. This is Edward, Damcian's prince. It's thanks to him we were able to save you. Yes, Crazy Norse. Some of the costumes are a little bit different from the originals, and then some of them are not. Wait until you see Rydia later. This is Rydia of Mist. Do you feel better now? I do, thank you, Rydia, and you, Edward. If Damcian has fallen, he'll be swift to move against Fabul. We need to cast Asuna on ourselves. You need to rest. We'll go to Fabul and warm them. But how? There's only one road that leads there. It lies through Mount Hobbs, and the way is blocked by a wall of impenetrable ice. Rydia, you can cast fire, can't you? No, I can't. But you're a summoner. Surely you've learned the spell. It's the most elementary of all. Rosa, you're in no condition to be going with us. I'll be fine. I won't be a burden. I am a white mage, after all. The best white mage. Cecil, Rosa wants to be with you, you moron. Alright, we'll go together. It'll be dark soon. We should leave early in the morning. Make sure you get enough rest. So now our party is expanded to include a minor red mage, a bard, a white mage, and a dark knight. Anna, I'm so lost without you. I'll just play music. That usually makes me feel better. Music doesn't make me feel better. I just want to kill something. Perfect. Die, Sahagin. Anna? Be brave. Anna? Sorry. By the way, this guy in the SNES version has 30,000 health. You're probably thinking, oh my god, why? Well, on the off chance you were somehow able to do quad 9 damage with every attack, your 4th attack will still kill him. For those of you not aware, he is scripted so that the 4th attack on him will kill him. Or 3rd attack. I forget if it's 3rd or 4th, if I'm being honest. I think it's 4th. But you get the idea.
Anna!
Edward, I can be with you but for this moment. The spirit calls me onward to become a part of it again.
Don't leave me, Anna!
Edward, you must be brave. Golbez cannot be allowed to have the crystals. You gave your love to me once. Now share it with all the world.
Anna, my love. I will try. But what would you have me do?
Alright, first thing, go level a bunch. Actually, it's funny how many fights we go through. Well, we're stuck with Anna. Or, excuse me, stuck with Edward, excuse me. Oh, Rosa, it feels so good to have you in here again. Are you watching, Anna? I'm trying as best as I can. Thank you, Cecil. Now let me help you. I'm so glad she's alright. I think, this is going to sound horrible, I think Rosa looks best this way. Because she's got this cool white mage robe thing, and, you know, her hair. It's when she looks this way that it kind of ruins it for me, but anyways. Yeah, okay, just thinking. Yeah, I actually liked the design of her hair. Yeah, her outfit... I actually like Edward as a character. I think most people don't like Edward because of how crap he was in the SNES version, because he was legitimately crap in the SNES version. I think they did a good job of balancing him to actually be useful in the DS version, which helps. And of course, I do like most of his character beats, here and later. Hell, he arguably gets more character than a few other party members I can name. Yeah, she just has a tiara on, for some reason. Just... I was just trying to see, it looks like she has like a headband on or something like that. Whoop, whoop. Whoop, whoop. We need to fix our party too. There we go. I don't like Edge, but I like Edward a lot better than Hitch. Fill out the map. Hang on. Who's the Waka of this game? Funnily enough, I think I just told you. Edward. That's probably worth doing. By the way, once again, an interesting little tidbit. They decide to give us the White Mage character right before we start seeing Undead for the first time. You actually don't see Undead prior to this point. Ah, that's not true. You see zombies in the first area. My bad, my bad. You don't see these types of undead. So I stand by my statement. We're going to start seeing a lot more undead going forward. I like it, Crazy Norse. In fact, I gave it a positive. It would probably be more of a positive, if not for the fact that it has some flaws in its design. Like, occasionally you're like, where's that one stupid frickin' thing? God dang it, I'm missing 1%. I've had that a problem a lot, especially in the Tower of Bab-Il. Oh yeah, speaking of preferences, am I the only person who prefers some of the incorrect translations to the correct ones? Like, Bab-Il always worked better for me than Babel. Because Babel, I get the reference, tall tower, yada yada, but Bab-Il always just kind of worked better for me. Especially because I always presume that there's, you know, ill intent into the thing. Also, Atma instead of Ultima. It's always been a preference of mine. Is my answer to that, Gum Gum. Rydia, will you please try to cast fire? Rydia, you can do it. I know you can. Her village was burned to the ground by that ring we delivered. No, I agree, Flowsource. Ultima is just the ultimate creature. Atma is kind of its own thing because it's different. Consequently, same thing with Bab-Il rather than Babel. I suppose you can still pronounce it Babel, but I still like B-A-B-Il. We can't make you do it, but unless we make it through here to Fabul, a lot of other people will be hurt. I know it's not easy, but please, you must be brave. We all must. And I like how Edward is the one who then cheers Rydia up here. One of the things that I like about FF4 is a lot of the character beats are good. One of the things I dislike about FF4 is all the character beats are short. They're all truncated. Something that in a more modern RPG would be stretched out across hours happens in the case of minutes in this game. I'm not sure if that's a positive or a negative, but it's definitely true. Character arcs just zoom by in this game. Forgive us, Rydia, but there was no other way. You know what? That's a good point, Dakota. I'd rather they have shorter character arcs than yammer on for too long about nothing. Rydia is so young and yet so strong of heart. Please forgive us, Rydia. That was very brave of you. I'm gonna become a summoner just like my mother. Yuna. Wait. That's true. They do have the advantage of always knowing who's going to be in the party. Actually, funny enough, I talked about that in a previous FF. I forget which one. But it boiled down to if you had a choice between being able to choose who's in the party at basically every point in the game, or the game deciding who's in the party at every point in time, which would you pick? Because the advantage of the developer basically being able to decide who's in your party means they know exactly how to design both the dungeons, the encounters, the bosses, the equipment drops, and of course, most importantly of all, the story centered around who is there with you. Now, the disadvantage there is also fairly self-apparent. You don't get any choice in who's in the party. Yeah, I think it was during 10. we came up with that. Because 10 kind of bypassed that by technically having the entire party with you at all times. So they just designed everything around the entire party being with you at all times. Which is, of course, the other option there. Oh yeah, so 4 introduced a new concept. Which is basically petrified slow. You remember in FF2 and FF3 and FF1, where petrify was this thing that to be absolutely terrified by, and occasionally I would just die outright because of RNG on petrify? This one extremely minor change suddenly turns that from being, oh god, we're gonna die, to something that you can manage, and not instantly lose the game because of RNG. I could see your point on that, Takoida. I guess, as a developer, not that I've ever developed games, but from a developer perspective, I'd probably lean more towards developer-designed party at any given point in time. But that's because I have some small degree of faith in my ability to do something with it. Sure, something. There is, of course, always the FF10 method. Everyone's always in the party, so you just design every cutscene as if everyone's always in the party. And then that's your answer. You just kind of bypass the problem entirely. And yeah, at this point, I might need to make a Lorium for the Waka and the Sten. Especially since they're basically the opposite of each other. Well, to use a counterexample, as much as I like FF7, FF7 did not do selectable party well. What FF7 did is, at every major cutscene, when you have the ability to choose who's in your party, they made it so that the people who were in your party had like 3 or so lines of dialogue spread out. Like they'd say, "Oh my gosh," and then they'd talk for a while, and then they'd be like, "I agree," and that would be how they did it. And that was such a threadbare thing that it wasn't really worth it at that point. They might as well not have even been talking. Now, that's mostly for the side questy kind of stuff. For the main cutscenes, everyone was present in FF7, which goes back to the 10 concept. I should test that, shouldn't I? Do I have one? There's nothing really wrong with method acting within reason. The problem is most people who use method acting use it out of reason, and they just lean on the excuse of, well, it's method acting, so it's okay. Yes, the Hope of this game is definitely Edge for me. Although he's not as bad as Hope, but I don't like him at all. And even ignoring the fact that I don't like him, he is such a non-character. Someone earlier said that the character beats take 10 minutes. Edge's character beat literally does take 10 minutes. He shows up and he's like, "Oh, I'll defeat you. I'm defeated. Hey, women are hot, and now I will get my revenge against Rubicon. No, I have to kill my parents. Done." And that's his character arc right there. In its entirety. And it's like, okay. I don't have that yet, do I? Do I have... Yeah, let's go do that. Yeah, Jared Leto, I have a very strong suspicion, likes using method acting as an excuse to be a dick. I don't know if that's true, it's just something I've Hi, I'm Cecil. I feel sad about doing horrible things, but I've overcome my feelings to become a true paladin. Chikonk. Hi, I'm Rosa. Chikonk. No, I should do that. I was gonna do something, but I don't remember what. Oh, right. I was gonna do this. Boss time, and time to meet the best character of the game. Kind of. Look, I love getting Yong for free enterprise. What do you want from me?
What's this? Clad like that? That's a monk of Fabul.
Achoo! Sorry. I know that he doesn't do anymore, which is very sad. Hey, by the way, Kick is substantially better in this version than it was in the SNES one. Which is good, because it really sucked in the SNES version. To the point of almost being worthless. We have to help him. Yeah, why haven't we helped him already? Jesus, Rydia. I mean, everyone other than Rydia. Let's do this. I am a fan and not a fan at the same time, Raren. Like, I vary pretty strongly based on the specific character model. Like, Yong looks pretty dorky here, which is a shame, because he's frickin' Yong. The best martial artist of the franchise. Yeah, you notice Yong literally has almost double the hit points of Cecil, who is our other tank. I actually like Cecil as a Dark Knight. Kane's alright. Hang on, I just got asked 3 interesting questions. See you around, Flowosaurus. So, first question, how do I do Royal Guard in a JRPG? So, the most obvious answer is make it so that... so you can do the Paper Mario thing, which is the most obvious thing. Make it so that there's timing based on, reacting at the right time in order to deal with it. So that's option number 1. Option number 2 is basically just set up a series of counter if-thens. Like before combat, basically. So like, I'm going to level up my counterattack. Anytime I'm hit with fire damage, I counterattack with something. I don't know, I can't think of anything right now. Okay, so... ESRB is not a legal organization, no. It's actually made up of a group of people who are made up from the gaming industry. So it's a corporate organization. Now this is gonna suck in a minute. Yep. Alright, okay, hang on. Sorry, give me a second. Oh, damn it. I was too slow. Okay. I might be able to make this work. Come on. Nope, I'm dead. I'm dead. So, let's see. So, the second question was 5 least liked characters in the franchise. Hope. By the way, good autosave. I hate to lean on it, but good autosave is good autosave, you know. Unskippable cutscenes. Just testing mount there. Yep, unskippable.
What's this? Clad like that? That's a monk of Fabul.
I don't remember it, Weots. So I can't actually answer that. I'm gonna do this. Just kind of see if we can keep up this way. Okay, so... Well, I've already said. Edge, Rinoa, Hope. Gladio. I can't even remember his name, but the guy in FF13 too. And that would be my answer. Believe it or not, I was having trouble coming up with that. Of that list, the only characters that actually really piss me off are Edge and Hope. The rest are just kind of... So... What was the other question? Hang on, so I had the question about the characters, I had the question about Royal Guard, and I had another question about how I'm not awesome and I'm very stupid. By the way, just to talk about game design for a second, you notice a lot of these early enemies actually have a weakness to his Darkness Blade. Just interesting that they bothered to bake that in. Ah, the 5-party setup. That was it. So I've actually talked about this a few times. And what it boils down to is I like the idea of having more party members active. I do. But as always, it's a question of balance. However, if you gave me a choice between, you know, 5 party members or 2 party members, I'd take 5 every day of the week. There's a reason most RPGs stick with the 3, because 3 and 4 are the 2, you know, that's the golden number for party members. So let's limit the amount of tax we're about to get here. There we go. Yeah, you know, Yang definitely needs our help, guys. Now, if we live through this, we've got this. We might not. Yeah, the most work has been done for the party balance of 3 or 4 party members. That's why you see it so much. I do firmly and absolutely think a 5-party team can work. The only downside is it's not just a linear equation. It's the same with an MMO. The moment you have to take into account that another player is present, then you're not just dealing with the fact that they have, you know, X more damage, because simply the mere fact that another target is present who can use items or can take actions or otherwise does actually change the dynamic of the fight, basically, for lack of a better way to put it. I'm explaining this terribly, so forgive me. I first became aware of this concept in MMOs because I studied the design of MMOs, because, With my deepest gratitude. I'm Yang, the only one who lived through that fight. We came here for training and found death instead. A great host of monsters waylaid us. I am the only one who survived. My monks were fine, strong men, but even they could do little. We were on our way to Fabul, a man named Globus. I'm not going to skip through this really quickly, not because I don't like this scene, but because I need to cut off, because I need to get going. pen and paper, Joe Neutrino. And yeah, pen and paper does have the exact same problem. Designing for a party member, or party members in pen and paper isn't just about, you know, designing for the fact that they have twice as much HP or twice as much damage. It's about the fact that there's another person there. Oh my god. Do I have any Phoenix Downs? Yang's like, oh god, I'm already carrying 4 corpses. I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do this. This. Yup. At this rate, Baron will make an enemy of the entire world. That's the plan. Why is there so much fighting all of a sudden? We must end Baron's madness before more are made to suffer. Even Fabul's monks cannot stop an attack from the skies. Rest in peace, my fallen brothers. I will see to your family's safety. With the help of these people, obviously. Can't do it myself. Okay, so I'm basically going to chop off here. So, God dang it. I'm just going to go ahead and hit the local recording right now.